It says I'm live.
There we go.
I'm
All
alive.
right. Hey guys,
Hey, what's up?
where are we live
We,
at?
we might want to
Live
give
on-
it a minute for everyone to hop in. I'm sending out a post and everything.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
So
But it says I'm alive. I just got confirmation that I am alive.
we know you're live.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you guys knew.
no, it says live, and it's like
Oh,
Oh,
it should
the
have a countdown timer.
like an acronym. Oh yeah, guys, what am I doing? We got a countdown timer.
dude, that would be amazing if you had just like a little timer above your head for how long you would live.
For how long you'd live?
Yeah, you
Is
know.
that movie with Justin Timberlake?
Oh,
Yeah,
there was a
there's-
movie.
there's-
Sucked. I watched that movie with Boris one time. It was.
I
it was
enjoyed
not
that.
good. It was.
I
really
enjoyed
good,
it. What? Oh,
dude. It was really fucking lame.
did you ever see that movie Death Note?
No,
Or maybe it was.
didn't know
sounds like
there
a
was a movie.
that sounds like a dubstep artist.
No, it was
Great.
an anime. Sorry,
I saw the anime. I think they
Maybe
actually,
they
you
did
know what?
make a
I think they
movie.
do have a movie. Yeah,
They did make a movie. I didn't watch the
remember
movie
seeing
actually.
some screenshot.
Yeah. I did not watch the movie, but I did watch the anime.
Yeah, I've seen the anime.
And like that movie was like, you could see, or the person who was basically like causing people's deaths could see how long somebody would naturally live to.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
that's fucked up.
Like there's a number above everybody's heads.
Mm.
Anyway,
All right. Well, cool. Well, I posted it in the group, so people hop in. We might have a record number of viewers today. Who knows?
we had a record.
Normally, we
last-
just go live on X and then people show up. But I even made a post and email, so we'll see.
Oh, a post.
Maybe we'll break 20 viewers.
Hey, I
Big
did a
leagues.
post on you know that guy Mario Nawfal?
Yeah,
I always see him, but I don't know who he is.
He's
Yeah.
like
Who
a
is he?
pro Elon Musk guy. I really don't know much about him, but he's
maybe
always
it's
like,
maybe Elon has multiple personality disorder, and he's all of them.
Okay.
Autism.
Are you trying to get us banned on on X? Like,
Oh,
already?
shit,
First
I'm
of
sorry,
all,
I'm sorry, Elon.
yes.
I was just
First of all, Elon, we love you. You're amazing. You're the greatest thing ever.
dude, Elon, I'm so positive on your platform, Elon. No one's regretting
Actually,
a single
can we
minute.
start off? Can we start off? Hold on one second. Let me.
We
do
get
something
like
real
12,000 viewers.
Dude.
Yeah, guys. Elon was talking this week, well, maybe it was last week, about being more positive on the platform. Right after he said something about subtards. So
Right after
I'm
he
still
said,
I'm still
"I will
trying to
go
figure out what a
war."
subtard is.
Right after he said, "I will go to war on this issue,"
Yeah, exactly.
the likes
Okay.
of which you can't even imagine.
With a go fuck yourself.
Right
in the
after he
face.
said, "Go fuck yourself in the face." Please
There's
be
a
more
really
positive
funny
on
meme
that
I saw
one.
though of I don't know if I can show it here.
Yeah, let me see. You got it. That was like the equivalent of like, somebody on Facebook being like, "Please share a picture of a flower. I want to see more positive posts." Post this on yours and tag somebody else.
Okay, guys, hold on. I want to just read this real quick.
Go ahead.
This is just going to be our intro for today for the positivity. Okay, welcome. Let me start over. So everybody who's watching, pretend like this is the beginning. Welcome to your podcast name, where every moment is a chance to grow, connect, and discover something new. Today, I invite you to take a deep breath, let go of any doubts or worries, and step into this space with an open mind and heart. This podcast is more than just words. It's a journey we take together, exploring ideas that inspire, stories that uplift, and truths that empower. Remember, no matter where you are or what you're facing, positivity is a choice you can make right now. So let's dive in, embrace the possibilities, and create something meaningful together. Here's to growth, resilience, and the power of showing up. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started.
Amen.
So,
Sorry, it sounded like a prayer. My bad.
Hey, woman.
Oh yeah, a woman. Oh, dude, extra positive points. Wow, Cameron, did you just come up with that?
yeah,
That was
that's
incredible.
why I'm chat dad GPT, man.
Dude, I'm not even gonna entertain doubts and fears anymore. I'm just gonna focus on growing together.
Cool.
Yeah.
So does that mean we're not gonna talk about the Tesla Cybertruck?
It was a positively amazing explosion.
It was a banging experience.
It was like such an uplifting experience. Watching
Dude, it was like fireworks.
Very exciting. Yeah.
A little mysterious too afterwards, because I don't know. Apparently, the guy might still be alive, but we'll get into that later.
Somebody should set the video of it to the Katy Perry fireworks song.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Dude, Mitch, you brought up a good point though, because that kind of reminded me of like, do you remember Reddit? You remember that? Did people still go on that Reddit?
Oh, you mean the bot farm?
Yeah, the bot farm. Yeah.
Fuck that place.
But do you remember how it like blew up? Like the story behind it of
Like the
how it
Cybertruck?
actually got really popular? What's that?
Like the Cybertruck?
Like the Cybertruck? Yeah.
Are you saying how Reddit got popular, or how the
Yeah, how
Tesla,
Reddit got popular.
was it because the Donald was the biggest subreddit and then they took it
No.
down?
No, it was way before
No.
that.
Way before that. Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Is because the founders basically created a whole bunch of fake accounts, like 50 fake accounts for themselves to make it look like there were
Like when they
people on the
started it.
platform. Yeah, when they started.
Oh, like I was doing here to make
Like
sure
you were
we had
alluding
13
to.
viewers.
Yeah, exactly. with
14
the 14 views. It's all just you. It's all just you in Vietnam with
I'm
I
also
have
a
like 14
personality.
different iPhones, and I'm like,
Yeah. like.
This is so good.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Lit. Fire post.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. Like, because Reddit has anonymity built into it. You know,
Right.
It's just like, yeah. I mean, if anyone hasn't watched Dead Internet Theory, I think, isn't that what the original video is called? I think it's
That's
in all
the one
caps. It's
that-
like Dead Internet Theory. That
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sure
the
we talked
one.
about it on this podcast.
Yeah, that we talked
200
about for
episodes
sure.
ago. Yeah, but it's really eye-opening because, like, man, imagine being a single guy nowadays and trying to use like online to find your girlfriend. You know, you're on like Tinder or wherever, dude. You're in trouble.
Bro,
Like,
the only thing I didn't like about the Dead Internet Theory was when they're like, everything's fake. And I'm like, but I'm online and I'm not fake. I mean, I'm not being facetious. So I'm like, so you're telling me you're not interacting with any real person,
yeah.
that I'm interacting on the post. So I'm the only person on the internet. Like, so that's what didn't make sense. Like,
right, yeah, they
it'd
didn't.
be better to
resolve
phrase it
that.
as everybody's on the internet, but also on top of that, there's like 10 times more bots or 100 times more bots interacting.
Right.
So, because, you know, to go like, oh, that's obviously a bot. I'm like, well, I mean, sometimes people say shit or they just say stuff that they heard, but you can also use bots to amplify stuff.
Dude,
sure.
now what's crazy? I don't know if we have that post, but Instagram is openly doing this.
Oh,
Remember that
right,
thing,
yeah.
that like trans mom thing?
I saw something that they already shut it down, but I don't know if that's true. That could just be
Oh.
someone making a post of saying
Yeah,
that.
some other bot is, you know, they like made a troll page.
Right.
It's like
Well,
some like
yeah, so-
40-year-old bald dude sitting in his mom's
Here,
basement.
I'll pull it up. I'm actually on Chrome.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Look at
you, I'm
ever
glad.
find
What's
it.
gonna happen? We're gonna self.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Destruct?
gonna find that post.
Yeah. So I don't even know why Instagram would do. Okay, they're gonna have their mainstream version, right? Like, hey, this is gonna improve inclusivity on the platform. But then they have the behind the scenes, which is like it's. I don't know, man.
Somebody was saying basically like the
Here,
they're
I'll share it
boosting
while we're talking.
their users for investors.
What?
Because if users goes up, if they can show, hey, we have more users.
Oh,
that
I
looks
see.
good for
I see. From like
investors.
a corporate perspective, yeah.
Yeah, but they're openly saying they're doing that though. So how would that help?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
It's just like I don't know. I'm sure
let
it's
me
a
share my
step in a
screen.
bigger plan. I don't see your ability.
Yeah, you gotta do something to share it. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go. Oh wow, how brave.
Okay. Proud black queer mama of two and truth teller.
Whoa,
Your
what?
realist source for
How does
life's
that work?
ups and downs. Let's chat.
Realist source, dude. What the?
Hello, I'm Liv, an AI managed by Meta. Here's her daughter.
It's like in everyone's fucking face. Truth teller and realist source, and it's not real.
Wait.
And then here's hello Grandpa Brian.
Why are they
What
all
was the
black?
other one's name?
Yo,
Hi.
where's the white people?
Hi Mama Liv.
Hello,
AI
Grandpa
managed by Meta. Everybody's grandpa. Retired textile businessman who's always learning. Message me to talk about anything.
He looks like a JC Penney.
Why am I gonna message this guy?
I don't know, but
I think
maybe
you
If I have any, if you have any questions about textiles,
He's
maybe,
only got
maybe
1,000 followers.
if you didn't have a grandpa, you'd message him like, "Hey,
Yeah.
black grandpa," because clearly I did not have a black grandpa.
Like I need a father figure in my life.
Exactly.
I just have a
Fucking
lot of
moron.
questions about textiles and the business practices thereof.
Should
Out of
I?
anyone here who would have question about textiles?
Should I? Should I
Seems
wear
like-
this?
But I
fabric?
want the answers in a sort of grandfatherly sort of tone. I've always wanted a grandfather type mentor in my textile business.
What the like? I don't know. We could speculate all day on why they're doing that, but it's just you see it. It's becoming more and more. Okay, was it last week? Did we show the body cam footage? Those police
No, we
people
did
with
not.
body cam?
No.
No.
That's
No,
new.
that was wow, dude. Time is like going. Time is
Dude,
accelerating,
okay,
man.
what day is it? Today is the 5th.
Yeah,
It's only 5 days into the new year. Let's get into like all
Can
the
we do? Let's
things.
do a couple of points and then we'll cover them.
Okay.
Like let's just give a breakdown of what the points are. So
What are the points? Hey, also, I don't want to hear about your new book because I don't want you to spoil it. I'm gonna
I
read
am
it.
gonna fucking talk about it. No.
Just tell me the title of the book and I'll go read it.
I'm gonna talk about it.
Dialogues. Okay.
Dialogues. Oh my god, is that some Illuminati symbolism on there, Cameron?
What was what was the title of the other one? The one that you said was like the best written one?
Solaris.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm done with that a long time ago. But this is the one I'm on now.
Uh-huh.
His master's voice and then the dialogues one.
Okay.
I'll talk about that later. It's just a minor point. Okay, but anyways, so we got on January 1st, or the night of the morning of January 1st.
December 31st was the first one, was in New Orleans.
Yeah, it was like that New Year's Eve, New Year's Day
Yeah.
morning time, right? Guy ran over people in New Orleans, got out and started shooting, I think.
Mhm.
And then you have the morning of January 1st, you've got a guy blowing up a Tesla Cybertruck outside of a Trump Tower in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think that was at like 2 a.m. or something.
And let me think, what else did we talk about? We talked about the H-1B stuff already. That was last time, right? Yeah. So that was a whole thing. And I mean, that's also adding to the whole point. Is there any other major points other than all
By the
that?
way,
Well,
that,
then there was
that got taken down.
other mass shootings. What?
The H-1B, the one that we did, the YouTube video got taken down.
Because I thought I uploaded it and then I saw it was down.
You did upload it, and then it got taken down by YouTube, and we've got a community guideline.
Oh, was that the one you're telling me?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, really?
Okay.
You
Yeah,
think because we said virus with it?
Yeah. They
Oh,
didn't like
fuck.
it.
I thought that was a clever name.
I thought that was hilarious too.
I'm sure it wasn't the name.
No, it wasn't the name. They said that we were talking about vaccines and potentially stopping people from getting a vaccine. Like, yeah, we're trying to save people's lives. Anyway.
Oh, fuck. Now we're going to list this one too.
I know.
Okay. Hey, for anyone who doesn't know, though, we do upload this to Spotify and Apple Podcasts too. And somehow it doesn't get flagged on there. So
someday we'll have
if
to go
we go
upload
down
it
off
somewhere else
YouTube.
like Rumble.
Yeah.
Somebody was asking me, well, why don't you just censor yourself? And I was like, why the fuck would I censor myself? Like, that's the whole point.
That's literally,
the censorship is so that it gets me to self-censor, and then I'm not speaking about the things that you need to fucking hear about.
Right. Then we end up making a whole podcast like Cameron's fucking ChatGPT prompt right there. You know, hey guys, we're on a journey through learning.
That's kind of the thing right now on Twitter or X, where Elon was like, talking about how they're going to change the algorithm, and that he wants more positivity on there, and so everyone's like, saying positive, just like totally like stupid bullshit positive posts, like trying to like,
Yeah. So there's that. But then I saw other things this week in Long Island. There was also a big shooting outside a nightclub, and then there were.
I feel okay. Is it just me, or does that one feel like not as important because apparently it was gang related?
Oh, I don't know the details. But
like
but even in comparison, even if it
member.
wasn't gang related, it's like, you have these extremes like, oh shit, it's almost like
if you were a really smart gang member, you'd shoot a guy. Because then they're all gonna gather for the funeral.
Dude, that's gotta be like a technique. There's gotta be a name for that.
It's like easy pickings.
Yeah.
It's a honeypot.
Right.
Is that what
For gangs.
Do you know this on Urban Dictionary? Yeah, who knows?
No.
But the other thing was that dude in Idaho got something happened in Idaho as well. There was supposed to be like some bombs on a truck or something. I don't know all the details of it.
Yeah, I saw
And then
that.
there was
People apparently said it was a joke. I don't know. The guy was joking or
knows?
something. But yeah.
And then there was that one this morning you sent. FBI arrested this dude for possessing guns in a manifesto. And it's like
He said he was targeting APAC.
Oh, they get.
then it's like,
hey, hang on.
okay.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, because listen, here's my question, right? Why is it they always have like FBI's been following this guy for weeks or for months, or they knew about the attack for hours ahead of time and blah blah blah, right? How does that always get leaked, right? And we hear about it afterwards. Like, is the FBI just coming out like, yeah, we knew about that. We could have stopped that one. We could have, but we didn't.
Yeah, we've been monitoring that guy.
Right. It's like
they're literally monitoring everybody at all times, real time, anyways. So
right.
It's all
but
bullshit.
it's like to manufacture this point of like, well, let's give them more power so they actually do something about it. It's the pre-crime thing, right? But
yeah, true.
But when it comes to this guy targeting APAC, they're like, oh, we got him way ahead of. He wrote a manifesto and we knew it. We were like, get him.
Yeah.
Okay.
If anyone hasn't ever looked at False Flag, you got to do your homework.
So today's episode has to be like basically. Okay, let me think if I can say it. Do you guys know about the term post irony?
Yeah, we talked about it before, but give me a refresher.
No, I don't. I've heard of it, but I don't actually know what it is.
It's like when you're ironic, but you're no longer ironic anymore. Now it's like for real.
Is it where like you can't tell if it's satire or not?
Post ironic refers to an artistic or cultural sensibility that blends irony with sincerity, often blurring the line between the two.
Mm.
So, for example, you can't, it's like, okay, let's say I wore some, or like, let's say I carried, like, I carried a Hello Kitty backpack.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm doing it like because it's silly. That would be ironic. Okay. Yeah. Post ironic would be like, I'm actually into it, but I'm into it because it's kind of ironic, but I'm actually sincerely like, no, this is actually legit. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so you can't really tell, am I sincerely into it or is it am I ironically into it? Do you see? Yeah. So it's blurring the line between the two, right? Yeah. That's kind of how I see like the popularity of like those, you know, like those like Balenciaga shoes and shit, and they're like so big and clunky and stuff. I was always like, that would be like dorky shit when I was a kid,
right?
You know, but like now it's cool. So it's at first like you're wearing them because they're kind of ironically dorky, but then now it's actually legitimately cool to do that. So it's like post ironic. You can't really tell. So the reason I'm bringing it up is
pink polos.
Oh, here's the other big thing, the Elon Musk, Adrian Dittman thing. Right, which we had talked about a little bit before.
Yeah.
Drake believes it, right? Some claim it's an IQ test. I claim we're in a post-ironic world. You literally can't tell. And it's like, okay, think about it. Elon isn't clearly stating it's not him. He's kind of implying it's not. He's saying it's an IQ test, and he's saying like, obviously it's not me, but at the same time, he's leaving enough room that maybe he's just saying that.
Hang on, pause. Okay. Because apparently, and I've not fact checked any of this, but apparently Elon Musk had an account where he was pretending to be a child, where he was like, oh, what are nightclubs like? That sounds really cool, whatever. And then he admitted to, I had this account where I was pretending to be a kid.
That doesn't prove anything.
I know, but it's not like so far-fetched out there.
I know it's not far-fetched. Okay, but here's my point. Okay, just so everybody's up to speed, because I know most people are probably not paying attention. There's a guy named Adrian Dittman. It's an account, and he's been going on and arguing with people about sort of like, it started with the H-1B stuff, and it was like this guy defending Elon, and everyone was like, dude, he's like going into spaces talking, and it sounds almost exactly like Elon, like his same accent, but same like vocal patterns. It's like slightly different. He doesn't stutter as much, but like when you listen to it, if you didn't know, you'd be like, is that just Elon Musk? And everything he says is in defense of Elon Musk. Like he's clearly everything he would defend, right? So that's weird. But then people are like, no, it's just this guy who kind of became sort of popular because he sounds like Elon, and somebody discovered the fact that, hey man, you sound just like Elon. So then it's like he's kind of embraced that point, and then that's the only reason anybody listens to him is because he actually sounds like Elon. So, but then it kind of creates a conspiracy theory of maybe it actually is an alternative account of one of Elon's where he's pretending to be himself or pretending to be someone else that's defending him all the time, right? So, do you guys see the post-ironic point here I'm trying to get at? I call it post-ironic because
it's a post and it's post-ironic.
No, not because of that, but because it's like it's so beyond even the point of post-irony because you really cannot tell what's going on. Yeah. And it fits both perfectly. Like it could very legitimately, from my perspective, it could very legitimately be a person that just sounds a lot like Elon, who's playing into the point that he sounds like Elon and is not in, he could do a live stream of him on video being like, hi guys, I'm this person. I'm not Elon. Look, let's do a live video with Elon right there. Okay, look, hi. Okay. And do something that obviously it's not AI generated, meaning like do like a test where, like you can prove it somehow. Like I'm in real time saying this and he's in real time saying this. And like, here, watch. Like they could do that if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But they're not doing that. So it even lends more to the point of there's still enough room that you could kind of feel like it really is still like a ruse they're doing, right? Because like, and everyone's like, oh, you idiots, look, Elon was streaming, playing some, video game and saying he's streaming while this guy, Adrian Dittman, was in a live space. Explain that. And I'm like,
you can play video games and talk.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it doesn't, but that's my point. It's like, why is that the evidence? That's not very good evidence, right? No. That'd be like, oh, they're saying that I committed this crime. And I'm like, yeah, but look, here's a post from my mom saying she's having dinner with me. Like, okay, sure. That doesn't prove anything. That's plausible, I suppose. That couldn't happen if I was there, but that could be a lie. Or like you said, maybe you're just also streaming and talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like this point that I'm seeing where you really can't tell what's going on, and they're not trying to help. So it's almost like they're perhaps deliberately playing into the point or not. You don't even know if they're deliberately playing into it or if they're just kind of like incompetent or they don't care or maybe they want this thing to perperpetuate.
I think that's
maybe Elon wants it to perpetuate that people think it's him or don't know if it's him. You see, so that's why I'm saying it's this.
It's the same point as like the dead internet theory or the Reddit and all that. It's like there's a blurred line that you can't tell like what is real and what's not. And that's, I think, a lot of the point of the internet itself is you're not supposed to be able to tell what's real and what's not. It's remember when Meta came out and said they're not interested in augmented reality. They want to create mixed reality where you can't tell what is actually in your environment and what's not, right? That's total control right there. That right there where you're like, I'm not sure, like maybe it's Elon, maybe it's not, or maybe this is what 1,000 people or 100,000 people or 1,000,000 people believe. Maybe it's not. Like maybe I'm being psyoped right now and I have no fucking clue. That's what I see because, okay, when you brought up the AI lady or whatever, she says like a source for truth or whatever, right? Like they know that everybody's questioning everything that they see on the internet now. And it's like, who do I believe? Well, there's this personality who is like, he's usually telling the truth or whatever, but that personality could be wrong, or that personality could be a plant. That personality could be Alex Jones, who just got sued for, $1 billion. Just so ridiculous. $1 billion? Like, come on. He got sued for $1 billion, had to give up InfoWars and whatnot. And now his talking points are all in alignment with,
just real quick on that. Even why he got sued.
Yeah.
He got sued because he said that the people at Sandy Hook were like crisis actors and it didn't really,
right.
I don't know. I don't think that's directly what he said, but that's the whole.
That is not directly.
But I'm saying that's ostensibly.
He shared, hey, this is what other people are saying.
Okay. there's so many layers to the point that's proving what I'm trying to say is like what he was apparently guilty of was not being able to tell if the thing really happened or if it was fake. And then even him being sued for it, you're not sure, is it because he said that, or are they twisting that and it's actually a different reasoning as to why he did it? And then there was this whole thing, remember, like not that long ago, where apparently the Onion was going to buy InfoWars,
right?
But then it was like stopped by a judge, and it was like, was that even really happening or not happening? Like, there's so many layers.
Was it an Onion story?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, what actually is going on, right?
But they were gonna buy it for like this, like way less than it was worth, or way less than
it was like some kind of auction thing.
Well,
and I don't even understand.
But they were getting it at a discount because apparently the people, the Sandy Hook parents or whatever that sued him, they got a judgment of like however many billions of dollars, right? And with that judgment, they were like, okay, we are awarding as a coupon to the Onion so they can technically buy it at a discount so it pays us off. And it's like, wait, what's the point of you getting awarded this much money then if you're just going to say, oh, we just want the Onion to buy InfoWars and then we're happy? Like, what? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, well, it just shows like you have so much fucking stuff going on in reality. There's so many different things flying around and angles and layers to it and everything, coupled with everyone who's interpreting reality has generally very low processing ability or really no processing ability. Like, this is crazy, dude. I was at this sauna the other day. I went to this event, and it was funny because it's like a sauna cold plunge thing, and it's right by the University of Minnesota.
You called it a sauna? I saw the picture, bro.
No, that was the day after.
Okay.
That was just a jump in a lake. No, so it's like a proper place. It was cool. There was like tons of people there, everything, and but I was sitting next to, there were these two, I guess, women. They were probably 20, whatever, at the University of Minnesota, and it was. I almost started laughing. It was just so ridiculous. So one it was this girl. It was her first time there, and then the other one like had been there before, and you could tell they were just like these studious, little college kids. And then one of them goes, "So what's the benefit of this again?" And then one girl goes, "Well, it boosts your testosterone." And she like didn't have anything else. They're just like, "Oh, it also gets rid of ringworm." And then they're just like sitting there, and I'm like, like. You came all this way to spend 45 minutes in a sauna and jump in the cold because you think it's going to give you fucking testosterone and clear ring. I'm like,
they're not even clear on why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you're in fucking college spending probably 30 grand a year. Like, what? It's at one point someone else said something and I chimed in. I was like, there's actually like, there's a way different thing behind this, but I was like, whatever. But it just showed me the level of processing ability of what a lot of people would say, like, wow, this is a great university. And, she's such a bright young woman who's going to go crush it in the world. And that's what she was saying. It was so backwards. It was so funny. Yeah, exactly. Like Drake is holding, right? The elite college students who can't read books.
Just on that point, we know you can go to high school. You can basically, like, I knew people who had straight A's that didn't know shit.
Oh, yeah.
I also knew people who had straight A's that were legitimately pretty smart.
Yeah.
But there was definitely people that if you had a conversation with them outside of school, they're retarded, but they got straight A's.
Oh.
So that person could get into college, especially if they went to a private school, and that they could go to college and do the same shit and not know fucking jack shit about anything and not really be able to read or anything.
You want to hear something weird? I was sold into this magnet program. Like, I was sold into, sounds like I was sold into slavery. Anyway, I was sold on this magnet program. Basically, like, like AP classes. Like, if a school has AP or has, I
went to a private school, so
everything was fucking AP.
Exactly.
You weren't taking AP, at least 1 or 2 APs every year. You're done.
So the magnet program that I was sold on was basically all your classes are at the AP level. It's the IB or International Baccalaureate, right? Yeah, irritable bowel syndrome. That
It gives you irritable bowel syndrome.
and everyone around the world
I
has
went
it.
to an IBS school because the cafeteria.
Yeah. But like I remember I was sold on this idea of like, oh, it's the top of the top. You know, colleges really love seeing this.
Yeah.
And you'll get all these extra credits like by the time you go into university, and you know, you'll be ahead of anyone else, right? And any college that you apply to, you'll be the top pick. And so I did this program, and I had friends that dropped out of the program and instead took just AP classes, right? And then I knew other people at the school who they were in just like the regular class, like not honors, not AP, not anything special, just the regular class, right? And they would get straight A's. Even the people who were in the AP classes would get straight A's, not me, right? But um, it looked really good for when they started applying for colleges. They already had like the straight A's, they had all this stuff. And so it looked really good on their part. These kids, most of them were dumb. I'm just going to say it. They were just dumb. Like you could not have a conversation with them. If you walked into their class, you'd be like, what? Wait, you're like, they would tell me some of the things that they would learn in their class. And I'm like, I learned that in like second grade. Like, are you kidding me? Like, is this a joke? Like you, and I was wondering to myself, like, is it possible for me to drop this IB bullshit so I can just do their class? Because like it was so simple. I could do it literally sleeping the entire class and just like, okay, yeah, just let me finish that real quick. And that's what they were doing. But I guess I was bringing that up because they were also getting into the same universities, other universities that I was getting into as well. And I'm like, what was the fucking point of this? Like it was a lot of work, the program that I did, where you would get like hours and hours every single night on the weekends. You basically had no time to yourself.
Well, and dude, I can't even imagine because I'm not there in it. I mean, I'm sure I could imagine it, but you know, like, can you imagine now with ChatGPT and shit?
Oh, bro,
dude,
bro.
And then can you like think of now that we see what's possible with what we're doing with Technotude and our kids, like 10 million times more effective than wasting your life doing any of those fucking programs, going to any of those universities.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like absolutely night and day difference.
Yeah.
There's no point. Like the whole college point is just so you can go get a job. And I was watching this. I don't think I sent you guys this one, but
dude, it's so gonna fucking collapse, dude. Holy shit.
I was watching this video of this guy who's like he's a developer, and he's only been doing it for like 5 years. He said he switched career paths or something, right? He didn't say what he did before, and like coding and stuff, right? And he can develop apps. You know, he like had a job at some company. He didn't say where, but he was saying how he was trying to do a video of like trying to help other people think about something, right? And the point was, should you study basic coding and development, or is it pointless? Because these softwares are able to do a lot of the basic shit. And he said, as someone who's more like at the entry level right now versus the people who are very experienced and been around for a long time, he's like, they understand the back end of how things work, and he doesn't. And because he's able to leverage like the ChatGPT type stuff, right? Or whatever he's leveraging, whatever kind of AI he's leveraging. And he was saying, the problem is in the future, people won't understand because those people are going to die off, retire, whatever. The average person who's coming into coding right now isn't going to understand the back end of how things work because they're getting the AI to do a lot of that basic stuff. And so you should study it because otherwise you're not going to know it. But then at the same time, why is a company going to hire somebody who has a really good knowledge of all the basic coding stuff? You know what I mean? When somebody without that, who just knows how to leverage the AIs, can produce the same shit. But this person actually understands it. But why am I going to pay that person where like that's their knowledge base and that's what they know? Dude, you know what I'm trying to say? Like for them to be able to do what this guy can do, this guy's at a disadvantage employability wise. But
dude, you know what they got to do? They got to just make Grandpa Coder Bot. And so it's like a black dude who specialized in coding for his whole career. He's like a wise grandfather who's always into learning. And then you can just chat with him.
Could it been like he did coding for like a textile business? I need to have that.
We can allow it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, okay, when you're saying that, when you're describing that, it's the machine stops, right? It's like nobody knows how any of these things operate anymore, and like once it starts
Read The
breaking
Machine
down,
Stops by Ian Forster, everybody. That's what he's referring to.
yeah. Thank you.
No one knows what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know.
Only I
You do.
And
Yeah.
probably 6 of our listeners. That was
Katie
like
knows.
150 episodes ago. Okay.
Katie knows.
Somebody's
Just
like, "What
fucking
machine's he
with
talking about?"
her.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying people don't know.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like, that is a trend that will absolutely happen as well. Is you get all these people coming in that somehow can potentially still get a job for the next 4 years, and they won't know shit though about how it actually works. And then we're like building on fucking quicksand. So
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I guess the college point is you're just kind of you're utilizing all of this AI stuff now to like pass your classes. We're not learning any of it. And that was already possible before, was my point. And now it's just accelerated.
Okay. Also, the thing with school, just in general, is how we were talking about those blurred lines of you can't tell what's real or not anymore. That's always been the case with school, except for everyone just assumed it was real.
Sure, yeah.
Like we talked about, like that whole point of like the textbooks having hundreds of errors, glaring errors in them. They're like, but you don't
it's
know
a
that.
textbook. It's official. It was approved by the school, right? So
Right.
it can't be wrong.
Exactly. And okay, at this point that I've been sharing, like, because I can see it really clearly, the elementary school teachers, a lot of them do not know math. They do not know math, and they have to teach to the textbook. And so for them, it's like, well, it's in the textbook, so this is what it says. Meanwhile, parents are complaining constantly. They're like, oh, I cannot teach whatever it is that they're teaching at the school for elementary math or whatever. I can't teach my kid that because I have no idea what's going on there. And so my kid's falling behind. And I'm like, it's basic math. 5 + 6. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. But you're supposed to like draw a box and this and that. And like, that's all bullshit. It's bullshit. Come on. And yeah.
And see, that's another point where it's like, is it a conspiracy to dumb everybody down? I think it
is.
The whole starting point of the school system is that.
Yes.
But then you look at these points where it's like they're overcomplicating how to like add numbers together. And you're like, what was the problem before? And I think it has to do with the fact that the children couldn't process the point. And so you're going to have like all of these, they have like 100 kids, like 9 of them can actually process it and learn, like just by telling them 5 + 6 is 11. What is 5 + 6? And they can remember it and they can get it and they can pass their test. But there are other kids, they can't. And so you have to give them something to do where they can like figure it out and like, but you're not even really testing. Okay, 5 + 6, what is it? If they don't necessarily, they can't tell you it's 11. They can go, okay, well, let me do my little process. So you're more training them to just do these little processes.
Even then, you train them to do this process. It's too, like the process is too long for them. Like they don't have the working memory or the stamina to make it through the entire process. So they're sitting there and they're like,
and these are the kids where in 12 years are going to be voting. And so everyone, what do we want to do about that?
Yeah.
If only there was like a tool that could somehow take like every single bit of information and program it into your mind so you could actually just understand it. Oh wait,
you got something?
Yeah. You trust your eyes, don't you?
So we've got the whole Elon Dittman thing, and we've got the Cybertruck thing. What else do we want to talk about? I guess we haven't really talked about those points yet.
Well,
no, we haven't.
The New Orleans thing, right?
So here's I would say let's start with the H-1B backlash, right? Because a whole bunch of people basically just got their blue checks removed or their accounts suspended, and that was in relation to pushing back against Elon. But
See,
what Elon
again,
said
go ahead.
is because they were racist.
He didn't say it was because they're racist.
He said they were abusing their reach, sharing information that was,
Okay.
I don't know.
Look, if I go back a couple of weeks, maybe, I'm not sure exactly on the timeline. I remember there was this point where there was this woman account who was obviously a woman, and she was kind of attacking like the Groypers, and she was saying that they were sharing some memes, like, and like she was getting messages from them saying like, we're gonna rape your daughter and stuff, and then she was like, these people claim to be Christian, and then there was this whole thing of like, no, you're making something up and you're just trying to stir division and create problems within the Groyper community and so forth, right? So it was like, it was just something I observed happen. But now I've seen that come back because some people are saying, no, the reason why these accounts got banned is because they were all participating in that kind of like, you know, meme harassment of people.
Sure.
But again, the problem is you don't really know, because like just someone posts a screenshot of something that doesn't prove anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and the problem with X is that they're not saying, okay, here's actually exactly what was occurring. Here's all the information, just like releasing it. They're just making the decision. So now it has the appearance that it's like kind of just what was happening before.
Right. It's just like, oh, this is the same thing as Twitter
with a different
Elon
political bent, you know, as long as you're
right.
pro-Republican. And this goes to kind of Katie's point about we're just in like a more Republican conservative cycle where it's like, look, the acceptable thing is to be conservative. Okay. But within that, there's still some things you're not allowed to do. Right. Because even if you think about
I'm a liberal now. Fuck this.
Well, even like the conservative types, like I heard Nick Fuentes the other day on a thing saying, you know, the Republicans and the Democrats hate you, and neither one is good, right? So is he really a quote conservative? I don't know. Like, it depends on how you define the term, right? But again, it kind of just plays into the whole point of like, well, what's really going on here? And it's like just everything on there is a fucking psyop, you know?
Right.
And then on top of that, you have algorithms that are pushing all this information, that are giving it to you, and we don't even know. Maybe somebody does, but we certainly don't know how it's determining what you see and why you see it, you know. And it really, I think the best example of this is that thing from Fall by Neil Stephenson about the whole right, where there's an event and no one can tell if it really happened or not, and there's so much disinformation occurring online that's obviously disinformation, and some that's not obvious, and some that, but it's like there's okay, I want to go into the Cybertruck thing for a moment. So for those who don't know, a dude blew up a Cybertruck in front of the Trump Tower in Vegas. Okay, that we think we know. Assume that really happened.
It's in the mainstream.
I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying, like, we have to assume it happened because we weren't there. We don't see it. We don't know, right? There's videos of it, but you know, maybe we can play those videos if you guys pull up those videos of the cops, or you know, the police response videos, right? The body cam videos. They're totally, and some of them you can kind of tell it's not real, but most of them, a lot of them, you're like, man, if it's already this good. Because there's a lot of videos where it's like you see a person, like, you know, when you see an image and you know it's AI, not because there's anything wrong with it, it's just the style of what an AI would do.
Look at this.
It's not mundane. You need something like this is mundane. This is not like something that looks glamorous and so forth, where you're like, clearly it's AI. It just looks very mundane, like a normal, you know, circumstance.
This one I can tell is AI just because of the way he walks at first. Yeah. And then after that, it's like,
yeah, like just look at, you know, yeah, it's a little weird with the
his
walking.
Leg there, the way the leg moves.
Yeah, but I mean that
again,
like pretty fucking realistic.
See, like right there, his leg, how it drags. But other than that, that one looks like GTA.
Looks like a video game. Yeah,
that looks like GTA.
But yeah, I would say that this one for sure, just like, wow, like, damn, dude. So, you know, if there was a Cybertruck in the background on fire, you know,
Imagine when they have AIs that can test a video to see if a human would think that it's real or not with a certain predictability.
Oh.
And then and then clip out the parts that are low on the score or whatever.
Dude.
Okay, so you've got that. What was I gonna say? Okay, so now there's So when I first saw this, I'll just give my impression. When I first saw it, I'm like,
because it just made me think of that Robin Thicke song. I hate these blurred lines. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe that was a psyop to program all of us with what's happening.
That's it. Robin Thicke was trying to warn us.
Robin, yeah. What's he up to these days?
He's at a Diddy party.
Turns out he's like in a Cybertruck promotional video. You're like
with BlackRock.
Yeah. Recruiting for Ukraine.
He's like performing at the World Economic Forum's opening party. Blurred lines.
Okay, so I'll just give my first impressions. Like, so you can look at how the mind works, right? When I saw the thing about the Cybertruck, I'm like, okay, this is my thoughts without seeing anyone say anything, right? Which then you start seeing people saying exactly what you're thinking, right? I'm like, it can't be a coincidence that it's a Cybertruck at a Trump tower after we saw this whole H-1B thing, where then Trump backs Elon. Like, did he actually back him? I don't know. It doesn't matter if he actually did. What matters is there's a perception that he basically came out on Elon's side. And the perception of a lot of people is that they feel betrayed. And then some people on the other side who are still on the Trump side are like, we're behind Trump. It doesn't matter. Like, he's got a plan or whatever. But a lot of people felt disillusioned about it, right? And now that like all the energy of like, dude, we're winning. We got Elon, we got Vivek, we got Doge. They're going to come and they're going to take down all the bureaucracy. Suddenly it was like, and people are saying like Elon ruined all the goodwill that he had, right? Okay. And then you have this thing where the Cybertruck blows up at the Trump Tower, and it's like, at first, my first thought was, because the first thing I saw was just a video from inside the lobby of the truck on fire, and I was like, wow, what a crazy coincidence that on New Year's Day, a Cybertruck catches on fire. Because I'm thinking it's like a battery fire thing.
Right. Yeah,
that happens, right? And then you find out later, no, it exploded. And it's like, huh. And then the story comes out that someone deliberately exploded it. And you're like, wow, okay, so this is weird. Like, clearly somebody's trying to send a message to Trump and Elon or something like that, right? And then I sent you guys that video. Did y'all watch the one with that Sean Ryan thing?
Yeah.
Where the guy...
Okay, so in between that and the Sean Ryan thing, I remember seeing some information come out about how, like, there was a passport that didn't burn.
No, it was his military ID.
Yeah, it was. It reminded me of that 9/11 stuff, where like somehow everything got melted, but they found the passports.
So if you were using ChatGPT and you knew how to prompt it, and you were like, "How can I make a conspiracy theory that would engage all these different points and have all the right elements that would," again, it's like the post-ironic thing. It's post-ironic that they would find his ID burned only enough that you can still see his picture, his name, the fact that he's military, the fact that he's active duty, maybe his date of birth, whatever the information was on there. Like, you see what I mean? It's like a post. Ridiculous. It's like let's just say it's a conspiracy, like it's a psyop, and they're like, hey guys, let's find his ID at the scene. Okay, like kind of a little bit burnt. Like, people are going to go nuts over this. Like, it's going to confirm who he was, but also they're going to be like, this is just like 9/11 where they found the passports, right? Because like, even if they really did find the passports in 9/11, I don't know, but like they would know that it became a part of like the evidence that it's a psyop. Like, in other words, what if they're like, we want to psyop people not just into believing this happened, but we want to psyop people into also believing it's a psyop.
Yeah,
you see what that's like the post-ironic point. It's like it's a psyop of that's a psyop.
It's like a compound. It's a psyop.
And so the whole thing with the Sean Ryan thing. So apparently this guy who's got some kind of military whatever kind of Instagram account where he talks about exposing things in the government or whatever. This guy, apparently, who was the person who blew up the truck, had contacted him before he blew it up, obviously, and gave him some email. And the guy sort of was communicating back and forth with the guy, but didn't know he was going to blow something up. So it just kind of wrote it off to, okay, interesting, but I mean, I get stuff like this all the time kind of stuff. And then the guy, apparently it's the guy, who he was communicating with, blows up the Cybertruck. And then the guy's like, holy shit, I was communicating with this guy. And then he goes onto the Sean Ryan show to show the email and talk about all the theories behind it. Right. And then there's all the post psyop points of like, oh no, he's an intel officer going on Sean Ryan's show. That's a psyop. And the whole psyop is to get us to agree to a war with Iran because it's backing up the point about it's the Chinese drones, which furthers the idea they were talking about of, some kind of drone assassination attempt that might happen. And so this is really just a next level psyop to get us to support war with Iran or you know what I'm saying? Like some legitimacy to there's a real threat against Donald Trump with these drones or something, right? So again, even the thing that's exposing the conspiracy is now seen as part of the psyop. Yeah. So then you're like, okay, so then what did really happen? So those guys are psyoping us. So it's like they did a psyop so that they could do another psyop to psyop us into war.
Are you not psyoped yet?
It's almost like, okay, you know what it is? Remember back in Iraq, the Iraq war, when what's his face? Colin Powell gets up in front of the UN with the vial of whatever. I don't remember exactly what happened. It was like he was saying there was chemical weapons. He did like a little presentation and said that like Saddam had chemical weapons, and he gives a speech or something. Maybe the vial is something else. But anyways, do you remember this? Like he gave a little speech about it and how they have evidence that has weapons of mass destruction. And that was like a big selling point on why they should go invade Iraq.
Mitch, you remember when we watched
this, right? This is what's happening. See, I only think in memes.
That's hilarious, Mitch.
It's good.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know where I found that.
Do you remember watching that movie Vice?
Oh yeah.
Right? And then they showed
Colin Powell. That movie's great. Everyone should watch that movie. Vice.
So they have that scene in it?
They have that scene of Colin Powell because they like part of the point that they were making was he knew it was a lie when he was giving that presentation and he didn't want to and he was really uncomfortable doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So but nowadays that isn't gonna cut it.
No.
Like they have to sell everybody on the war somehow, or they have to sell the Congress people, I guess, on the war. And it's
for some reason
it's got to be believable so that they can feel justified that they went along with it. And like, I don't know how it works, but what I'm saying is like now that's like not enough. It's kind of like pornography where it's like, yeah, just like a dude banging a chick on a bed. That's not enough. It's got to be like,
he's got to bang her on a dolphin.
It's got to be like on a dolphin in space, and the dolphin is his stepmom, and like it's got to be like so extreme, right?
Dude, but so this is why. I mean, we talk about it every fucking episode, but it's like this is why you really got to study Destiny, because it explains the whole starting point behind all of this. That ripples into every last little facet of our reality that we're still accepting and allowing, so that you can. It's not necessarily transcend what's happening, but it's more equalize yourself to what's happening and then bring it back to yourself so we can thus change it.
Because, okay, and yeah, this is the point I was going to get to. So there was one point where somebody made this statement. It was like a reply to one of these posts about, I think it was Brett Weinstein. I should have sent you guys that one, where he said the whole, we didn't even explain that yet. Okay, because we talked about this on the podcast a few times.
No, what? Brett Weinstein?
The whole free. Remember we went to the whole free energy. And,
right. Ashton Forbes thing. Yeah.
And the gravitic.
Oh shit! I forgot about Ashton Forbes.
I know. And so
Ashton Forbes commenting to Sean.
He's loving it. He's loving it.
Please don't tell me Ashton Forbes is part of the SOP. He can't be.
I'm not
That
saying
might-
that, but again,
No, I'm just
we're in a post psyop world, so you know,
Dude,
like,
post
We're in a
psyop.
post psyop world.
remember I
Bro.
made that point a while back. I was like, why? Because before we even saw the Ashton Forbes stuff, remember he went on to Candace Owens. That was the first time I ever heard of him. Before all
Yeah.
that, I remember seeing those MH370 satellite videos pop up on
Right.
Twitter randomly. And
Right,
I was like,
right.
and to me, it was just like a random thing of somebody, you know, it's like a random UFO video. And I was just like, that's weird. What is that? Why was that being pushed?
Why? Yeah, why was it being pushed? For one, for two, like I thought because I didn't have the context that you had of like you looked at it and you're like, oh, I remember this. I looked at it and I was like, this is some weird ad that I'm not interested in, and I just like scrolled along. It wasn't until he went on to Candace, which is like,
But
okay,
the point
so
is, you still saw it. Like, why?
yeah, I saw it. He got on Candace somehow, right?
He made a point in there. I think it was in that interview where he said that video had become more popular recently. He made a point because I assumed it had just come out based on what I saw, but it came out in 2014. It wasn't like it just released.
That was important.
It was
though.
like it became popular.
That was important that it came out in 2014 though, because it was like, okay, if you're saying this is all CGI, right?
Oh yeah, it like came out within like a week or something of the
right.
actual.
It's like, okay, then you
no
do this within 1 week. Here are the two angles that you have to create, and you have to match them up, etc. Do it, and nobody can do it, right?
But the point was, I only knew about there was that MH370 thing. I remember it being like a big deal, right? We talked about this,
right.
So clearly the algorithm was pushing that point. Maybe that had something to do with Ashton Forbes getting onto Candace. I don't know, because that was kind of random when she had him on there. I was like, what is this? I almost didn't watch it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so that why does this all tie together? Because the guy who sent the email, the Cybertruck guy who sent the email to the guy who went on the Sean Ryan show, which had sent to him the day before he did this whole explosion thing or whatever, he in his little email was talking about that the drones that we're seeing. Remember this whole drone thing going on over like Jersey and all around the world now?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, right. More psyops, post psyop. You know how you call like these people post op?
Yeah, he's
so
an
I'm
op.
like thinking of like some kind of pun, like post psyop. No, like post op, like transition surgery. Anyways.
Oh.
Post.
But again, dude, doesn't that just play into the whole symbolism itself? It's like you're a guy, but now you're a woman. But I'm not. I was never a guy. I'm a trans woman. No, a trans woman is a woman. I'm a woman. And
now
it's like,
a lesbian.
But you're a
Ultimate advocate
post-op.
of truth teller.
So, why did Mitch get highlighted on my screen?
What you doing?
I'm trying to make this. There we go. There. Now
Why?
you keep talking. Huh?
Why?
Just so there's some variety in the
Oh,
screen.
okay. Okay, so yeah, maybe whenever he talks, you can like put him on there.
Yeah.
Okay, so where was the point I was going with all of that? So the guy in his email was saying that the drones are some kind of gravitic propulsion technology, but then later he calls them balloons.
Hang on, I think
which was weird.
The primary source material here.
And then, okay,
I didn't get the balloons thing. Oh no. He said the balloons thing in response to like he was making an analogy. He was like, it's like the balloons that the Chinese have, which are always in place.
Oh, maybe I
does
just
anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a surveillance thing that he was saying, like we know they have this, we know they have that, and nobody talks about these things. Because do you remember like there was a balloon that was like,
it like floated over to Montana or some shit,
and nobody did anything.
Why isn't anyone shooting it down? Yeah, like what's going on here?
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember that was a whole big that was like the precursor to all of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but just it was interesting because he's like talking about going across the border to Mexico, and then he's talking about how he essentially is loaded and has like with guns, and he has a bomb.
They call it a V-bid, which is like meaning he has a vehicle that has an explosive in it.
Yeah, but essentially what I think the main part of this is he's like China's been launching. He's talking about the drones, right? China's been launching them. and it's the most dangerous threat to our national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity, could park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. We need to be aware of this. So the whole premise of what I gathered from this, that another angle on the story is, if you look at it as like America is sleeping. Yo, we're doing equality. This is fucking gonna drive me crazy.
I was having fun.
But it's like, so let's say, yeah, hypothetically, these drones, and China has a superior drone technology. This is the most important national security threat. And what he apparently told that other guy was the Matt Berger, whatever his name is, was saying this will change the course of humanity by this getting out. And so he did the whole Tesla thing. And then apparently when it blew up in front of the Trump Hotel, it was more like fireworks and like maybe some smaller bombs. So it wasn't a proper VBID that could like level the whole place. Like, I don't think anyone died from it.
No,
it was more.
People got hurt.
Only the driver.
Well, so we'll get to that in a second. But apparently the point that they were making was like, one angle on this is he did it to draw a bunch of attention to this. So now this email's out there to say, hey, this is our biggest national security threat right now. And he wanted to like get off his chest that America committed these war crimes, which I don't.
But that also kind of makes it weird because you're like, why are you also bringing that up?
Yeah. It's kind of weird how that was blended.
Right? Like, there's something weird about it because you're like, who cares? We know.
So then the ultimate weird point is then that apparently, according to the mainstream story, I thought this was what it was. He took then a Desert Eagle and shot himself after he blew up the truck or something.
Or before.
Could
it be after?
Well, I guess I don't know how that works. Maybe press the button, countdown timer, and then he's like, okay, blow myself up.
That's the only way it could work is if I push the timer, it's about to go, and then I shoot myself, and then it blows up. You can't shoot yourself after.
But now there's a brand new video.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, do you see him? He's moving inside there after it blew up.
Didn't play that one. That one's got to be, I mean, because there's nothing.
I haven't actually really sat down and watched it yet. So let's see. Whose page would it be on?
I sent him one of the last things I sent in the text thread.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the last
things. Let's pull it up here.
Because when I saw that, I'm like, dude, again, why is that footage being released? Isn't it almost like to be like, haha, we psyoped ya, right? Like it's like they're trying to.
So this will be. Psyoped. I don't know how graphic it'll be, but
that's it.
You can see the guy in the car. Just put your cursor there.
Yeah, over his head.
There's the guy.
There's his head. Yeah. Oh shit.
And whether it's moving, it looks like it is. But even if it wasn't, you can clearly see him sitting upright.
Right.
With a full face that was not shot clearly by a Desert Eagle, which is a very high caliber gun.
Right.
This guy, chivalrous shark. I've stopped trying to figure anything out in the past 72 hours. I'm much happier. Don't even care now.
I know I'll get up tomorrow and go to work.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Pretty much.
He gets to work. They're like, hey, sorry, we gotta fire you. Parish Patel is gonna be your replacement. You need to train him.
Yeah,
this guy's like on Toro, like looking at Cybertrucks.
He's like ChatGPTing a manifesto. He's like, come on, ChatGPT, help me write my manifesto. Don't make it positive.
Oh, and then there was another manifesto that they found after they extracted the data from his phone.
Oh,
and
right.
His signal number changed after he apparently
died. Hold on.
This is like
extract the data from his crispy phone. That was
cloud.
Oh God, hear me out. Let's say they could do it because I thought about that. Let's just say they could. Okay. He sent this email apparently to the other guy, right?
Yeah.
The manifesto they found on the phone has nothing to do with any of that stuff. I don't remember, but I don't think it had anything to do with the drone. I mean, nothing to do with the drones.
Chinese drones, yeah.
No.
Nothing to do with the war crime stuff.
Jeez.
It was more just like a ChatGPT written manifesto. Although I put it into the AI detector and it said it was like 4% AI. So, but you never know. That could also be a psyop.
I didn't read the manifesto itself. I just saw that it was like, this isn't a terrorist attack. It's a wake up call. That's all I saw.
Yeah, but it was all like, we need to get back to like conservative values. I mean,
Oh, weird.
do you have that one, Mitch?
No, but did you send
Maybe
it?
you could look at that. I don't know if I sent that one, but it's like a 2-page thing. It's totally different than the email. And so it's like, so they extracted this. Okay, but here's my point. Hold on.
Right.
They extracted this from his phone that was there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And if he had this intention of doing all this and writing a manifesto,
Mhm.
why would he just type it on his phone and then leave his phone in the car and let it blow up? Why would he type out that whole manifesto?
Yeah, he'd throw it online or something.
Like, I don't think he would assume, you know what, though? It's probably going to only crisp my phone just enough. They'll still be able to get the data and they'll find my manifesto.
Right.
Why
It's
would,
fucking...
like, if you're going to go out to the trouble of writing this whole detailed thing about your philosophy and everything, and then,
Why would you post
so
it
like
somewhere? Yeah.
Yeah, or have
Isn't
sent
it
it
so-
also to that other guy.
Yeah.
it's like so obviously like we want to demonize like the conservative, like family oriented sort of like white nationalist type, even though he's not. I don't think he said any like nationalistic, like anti-Indian type shit. He wasn't saying anything like that. But it seems very much like the ID, where it's like, come on, really?
Yeah. It's interesting because that point that you had made of like people becoming people feeling like they need to express in more extreme ways. It's like we're seeing that. We saw that with the guy in Germany who went through the Christmas market, the guy in NOLA, this guy, like
the guy who
Yeah.
set the dude on fire or the woman on fire in New York.
Yeah,
And then there's
exactly.
been like another one happen. And then there was that video I sent you guys of that guy going and pushing that woman in front of the train, or that dude in front of the
Oh,
train.
the guy in front of the train, right? Exactly.
And then I just saw there was another guy who's like been stabbing people. They're looking for him.
Insane.
Yeah.
And the other guy who stabbed his neighbor's dog or whatever, like, man, people are like, they're getting crazy.
Yeah.
But it's also
Yeah.
you sent that clip of was it CIA or FBI or whatever, some intelligence agent, who was saying we have ways of making people just flip that switch where we trigger them on
that
purpose.
was fascinating, dude.
That's kind of what I've been trying to explain. Is
Yeah.
like
we
can you
should post that.
because okay, that's what I was thinking about. Which one? The New Orleans guy,
Oh no, the New
or
Orleans
was
guy?
it the German one?
The German guy?
There was one we had talked about where I was like, they could have like manipulated this person into doing that, you know, and even that clip that guy did, or that you guys are talking about. I mean, clearly the guy's like on one of those dates, you know, where they're trying to like. So like they're always drunk, so they're never like totally articulate. They're always like talking in generalities and stuff instead of like, you know, like explaining the details of it. So it doesn't really explain all that, but it kind of makes it sound plausible. But I'm like, you have a personalized feed, and
Here,
you know,
it's like a minute. I think it's helpful to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do.
How?
Just let them up. You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse. And once they act on that impulse, then we call that entrapment. We call it a nudge.
A nudge.
A nudge. Sometimes you just got to give them a quick little, just to see what happens, right?
And how does that happen?
You put a post out there, or you have someone fake profile say something that triggers, that we know is going to trigger them, right?
Grandpa
Like,
Brian.
History. If we're to that point, we already know everything about it. So we're like, oh, this will piss them off. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow. Nothing like putting on a fake social media thing to like really get people mad.
Mm-hmm.
Post fake news. Sometimes it's not fake. It's embellished a little bit.
That's like the mainstream. The mainstream has been doing this in a mass way. Actually, I don't know if that article I published is available yet, but I've been putting some things on my Substack, and one of them was about it was about this point of what was the overall point? It was about the point of social media being like the next point of mainstream, where they kind of like, okay, go back to Century of the Self. They knew we can monitor through public relations and so forth the unconscious points within people, the unconscious triggers, but they're kind of looking at like a broad overview of everybody's, like statistically, the biggest trigger is this, versus the individualized triggers. And so now with these personalized feeds that have algorithms that it's like when I've been playing with the ChatGPT, it's clearly building an idea of what I think about stuff. Because when I give it feedback and talk to it and put information into it, it starts to, like, if I say, hey, give me something about this, it does it in the context that I would think about it. Sometimes not always perfectly, but sometimes, most of the time. So if we kind of go forward a little bit, 20 years from now, let's say, I don't know, just making up a number. Can you imagine having these, and you have a Neuralink, right? And it's like telling you things, you're not even sure if it's your voice or not. Imagine growing up 50 years from now as a child where it's just normal. And when you're born into the world, that's already happening. And everybody already accepts the AI and the personalized information and the feed, that stream within you, that's like talking to you. They don't even know it's an AI, if that makes sense. Like what am I trying to say? You know how like the mainstream media, people think that it's there to tell you information and inform you? They don't realize it's literally to manipulate you based on a lot of different interests. It's not there to inform you. That's not the point of it. And like that guy said, it's not necessarily fake. It's embellished. They're choosing certain information and they're framing it a certain way. So, but people don't go, obviously, like, wait, why am I listening to this at all? Right. Why am I thinking there's value in this information? Why am I thinking this is to my benefit? No, because they were psyoped at some point into believing it's the fourth estate. It's the thing that's supposed to like keep power in check, because we have the free press and they push back and
you're a good citizen if you know what's going on in the world. You can't but like bury your head in the sand,
these people they're working for you to inform you and keep you up to date, like NPR kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, so imagine when we get to the point where the AI that speaks to you almost in your own voice potentially through a Neuralink type thing, so it's like real time all the time, and it's at the point people like right now, if you got a Neuralink, you'd be like, I know it's a fucking thing. It's like you're on Twitter. I know it's manipulated. I know it's there and it's feeding back to me what I want. And you're aware of that. Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, it'll become so normal that people won't even be aware anymore consciously that that's what's going on, because you're just accepting it, kind of like we did with the mainstream, right? Yeah.
You're just born into it.
You're born into it, so you don't question it anymore. And also, I was talking about this point of how believing in God is setting people up to accept that. Because the idea of God is that it's a thing that knows everything about you, that has your best interests at heart. It's like you're accepting the pattern that could exist. And so at a certain point, that pattern will accept this AI as that, even though it won't be a conscious decision. Like, because you could easily say, like, why would I ever accept AI as God? I'm like, when you're born into it and there's no reason to second guess it or anything. You know what I mean? It's kind of like we do it with Christmas. Like, why wouldn't I celebrate Christmas? Yeah. We're like, look,
it's like people do with church. Of course I accept. Yeah.
So there's all these patterns we already do that way eventually, because you never go like we did on the spaces that we did. Like, when was Christmas invented? Like the commercialized version we know, at some point that was created. Like, we didn't always have that. But now we accept it as that's just what Christmas is. What are you talking about? Because I'm like, why isn't it just about Jesus? Right?
It's crazy. Like when I think of, because I was just talking about this. I know we talk about Christmas often, but I was just talking with somebody yesterday of like, you're making a conscious decision to lie to your child year after year after year. Like, it's not just like a one time, like, oh, it was cute and it was fun. It was like, it's like, yeah, no, we just lie to them every year for the last 8 years. We just been keeping this ongoing lie, or even more sometimes, now, because kids they don't have the processing ability. They're lied to for like 12, 13 years before they figure out like, wait a minute, I think there's something off here.
And then aren't we already doing that too with like, I'm just going to say the Federal Reserve or something, you know, or like how government operates or how all these points work, where it's
You
like,
talking about my Fed, bro? You talking about my Federal Reserve? What do you have to say about the Fed?
You got Stockholm syndrome, bro.
sorry, am I challenging some points? But you know what I mean? Like, it's like we're doing this all the time.
One
not
nation
questioning
under
these words.
God. It's on our money.
Yeah.
One nation under a groove.
One nation. That was my Kamala impression.
We're getting down just for the funk of it.
Yeah.
All right. Man, why did she have to ruin it? It's actually a really good song.
I think Kamala literally ruins everything.
Remember Kamala Harris?
That's like
no, she apparently she botched the Pledge of Allegiance this week.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's
That's what they
That's a
say.
psyop.
It's probably a psyop.
Yeah,
It's
dude. This is
Okay,
this is
so
a
let's
fuck
look at
world.
it. Post psyop, everything is a psyop, right? Does that make sense? Like, it's like there's nothing unique about thinking something's a psyop anymore, because now it's at the point where it's like everything is, and even the psyop is a psyop. So then there's the post psyop, which is the point where, okay, I looked at GPT. I said, what would post irony be? Okay, and it said it would be. I mean, this is just it's.
Hang on. One second regarding the.
It's
Yes.
just two cycle.
That's my cat. She lives right next door in the stable.
Post irony refers to a hypothetical or emerging cultural mindset that goes beyond the ambiguity and duality of post irony, often returning to a fully sincere or earnest engagement with ideas, but with a deep awareness of the layers of irony and detachment that came before it.
But
the thing is,
that would imply you have to have the awareness and the understanding, right?
okay, but I would take it to a slightly different angle. I would say it would be more the embracing that everything is a psyop, and you can't possibly know what is and what isn't, because there's so many levels to it, and that for you just embrace everything sincerely. Based on what? Like, based on however you feel about it, it's just like, this is what it is. Like, you can't, like, so if you look up that Brett Weinstein tweet, he was basically like, that's why we gave the context about the Chinese drones and all that. He was like, it's got all of the points for a perfect conspiracy theorist to get obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? And that's why it almost seems like a psyop. The psyop part of it is part of the psyop. You see what I mean? It'd be like if they not only did 9/11, but they did all the things around it on purpose to make it obvious that they did it, so that it would become a conspiracy theory also.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this looks like. It looks like it's done in a way, and everything is being leaked and done in a way, and it's not even necessarily a person or one group doing it. It's the fucking system. You see what I'm saying? It's like the whole system is coordinating itself to make you not know what the fuck's going on.
And there's basically, how I see it is there's generally three paths you can take. There's the one is where you go, yeah, it's a psyop, and I'm gonna go fucking get lost in that. Or you say, no, it's not a psyop. It can't be. We should just accept it as it is. You know, it just is this. But in those two, you're still you're accepting the system. But then the third option is where then you can actually comprehend the bigger thing and bring it back to yourself and then correct it.
The third option is really just like realizing that it's all a distraction. You know,
it's okay. When the starting point is self-dishonesty,
right?
Our system is going to evolve to a point where you cannot trust anything. And that's what I'm getting at. Is the consequence. Like, we're now getting to the point, it's 2025 now, where it's the most psyop of all psyops. Because also, I mean, look at how it ties to the H-1B thing, which also was a fucking psyop. Like, who did that? Like, was it to drive a rift with Elon and Trump? was it because the tech people just want to like replace everybody with slaves that are paid less? Like, what's really going on here? Like, why can't they just say clearly what the problem is and why they're doing it? And this, and it's all like, you just can't. And this is something else I wrote about. It's like, you can't trust leaders anymore.
Mhm.
Like, this is part of the problem, is the reason why. I wrote a response on X to something Charlie Kirk wrote, where he was kind of like, hey, let's not focus on this rift. Let's come together, because this is our moment. Like, we're winning. It's MAGA. We got to move forward. Let's not let this divide us, right?
Right.
And I was kind of like, okay, but what if Elon Musk tomorrow came out and said Christianity isn't real, Jesus isn't real? Did he save the Martians? Or like just something against Jesus? Would be like, nah, guys, don't worry about that. It's team. We're all together. Like, no, I'm sure. I don't know.
Hold on, Cam.
Oh. I was like, man, this pause
Dramatic
for
pause.
effect is heavy. This is a heavy
Yeah.
pause for effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would imagine Charlie Kirk would denounce that, and he would make his stand. And I don't know if he'd try and go for. I don't know if he'd go for reconciliation.
Yeah. I think I
Cam, we lost
think
you.
I saved. He's back. Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, he's not. He said he was back, but he was not.
I'm back. It usually does it
a few times. Yeah. He's still in the thick of it. I thought on X that you could see the videos that you've liked, but only you can go back and find the ones that you bookmarked, but not necessarily the ones that you've liked. Or is there a way to do that? Do you know?
No, I think it's on, if you go in your profile.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this way. So you go in your profile.
Yeah.
And then you click into likes. Oh, it says your likes are private. Only you can see them.
Your likes
Elon can see them too, I'm sure.
Okay. Where did you see the
Yeah.
likes? Under what? Under profile?
Here we go. Look,
Oh,
I'm on
likes.
I'm on my profile. All right,
Yeah,
posts, and then I click
Yeah.
my likes, and then I can
Got it. Okay. Now I see it. What these images that you have are so great. But yeah, it's what Cam was saying. I was just looking for that comment because I know that I had liked it. But he was saying this point of like, okay, but yeah, what if I'm reading that? What if, Elon comes out and he says like, oh yeah, Christianity is not real. Then what? Then then are you going to co-sign that? Like, let's be realistic about what we're looking at as far as what we call winning, what we call our side, what we call like whatever. I got to sneeze real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, heads up, my power just surged. So
Your power just surged too? Oh,
hold it down for a second here, Drake.
oh boy, this is exciting.
My Wi-Fi is still good, so it's not gonna end this, but yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Bringing it all together, what that looks like is just, we have a bunch of people who have gotten together and people are saying things from their perspective. I'm not even thinking that it is a coordinated attempt. It could be, but I don't even see it as a necessarily coordinated attempt by every individual, because again, you could be watching your guy who just got psyoped by this other guy, or what he's seeing or whatever, and he's giving his opinion or his perspective on things. But at the end of the day, none of that really matters, because like Mitch was saying, if you're seeing things from, this is all just one big psyop, or you're seeing it from the other perspective of like, no, I think this is happening, it's on the level, and I'm not falling for the idea that like this is all fake and coordinated, etc. Either way, it's like that thing still has your attention. That thing is still grabbing you in, like the Cybertruck thing. Perhaps what this guy's talking about in his email with gravitic propulsion is legit, and perhaps it just so happens to coincide that Ashton Forbes did an interview with Candace Owens a couple months ago, and so now more people are aware of this, and perhaps it's just like unfolding this way. However, there's also the possibility that those things were coordinated. But regardless, it's like, okay, so let's say gravitic propulsion is a real thing and it is about to be released, that it is real to the public. Then what? Then like, oh, okay, well, this changes everything. How so? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be somebody it's not going to make it so that, oh, now we all have free energy. Somebody's going to be at the top saying, yeah, we need to control this and you need to pay for something, blah, blah, blah. So the system still remains intact. Yeah, maybe there's free energy involved now. Maybe there's this, there's that. But the system itself, there's still a hierarchy. It doesn't change that hierarchy. The only thing that changes that hierarchy, the only thing that changes the system is us as individuals. It means that every individual has to become way more intelligent because, okay, let's say, yeah, gravitic propulsion is a thing. It relates to the 0 point, the free energy point, all of that. Great. Do you know how it functions? Do you know how it works? Does the average person even know how a battery works? No. And so if, we lost all the technology that we have today, who's going to recreate a battery? You're going to depend on somebody else, an engineer. Who's going to recreate the iPhone? You're going to depend on somebody else, somebody who has higher knowledge out there to do those things rather than yourself being able to do those things because you yourself don't know much. The average person doesn't know much. But even more important than that, it's the average person hasn't even questioned why they do or think the way that they do. Why they do the things that they do, why they think the way that they think. As an example, I was talking with someone recently who, they were sharing with me this story of, I'll share from my perspective. I shared this story of, like, I had an experience where I went out and, like, the point of it is something happened and I went to go do all these different things and didn't even question, wait, why was I doing those things in the first place? Why was this such a big deal in the first place? And the average person does not question that. They get frustrated. They get upset. They have and they feel justified in their frustration, justified in their view, their perspective of things. Because this person said this and I went and did this and this wasn't working for me and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, but you haven't even questioned why were you in that position in the first place? Oh, because I needed to make some money or, you're not being self-honest about what caused you to be in this situation. And then what are the finer points behind that of what's our system all contributing to make these things happen. That's why it's so important to read Creation's Journey to Life, Heaven's Journey to Life, which, we talk about, because it helps you to understand, oh, this thing that I'm experiencing is not individual just to me. It's not just some random occurrence that I just experienced and it's coming from me necessarily. It's this entire system that we are all participating in that is artificially, it's like, there's always people talking about don't be a sheep, be a lion, right? Online. Mm-hmm. It's okay, what happens to sheep is they're guided, or a herd. It's guided. And as an example, if you're herding even cattle, it's oh, there was a crack over here. And so that cow just moved away from this crack and he just wanted to be safe. And so they started heading in this opposite direction, not even realizing, yeah, it's a bunch of cowboys who are coordinating that you continue. It's a system, literally, that is coordinating to get you to walk through this path, right? And that's not even questioned. And so the point that I'm making is, regardless of whether there is gravitic propulsion, 0 point, free energy, blah, 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 whatever the conspiracy theory is, whether there's drones, whether there's aliens, all that bullshit, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't fundamentally change things at the end of the day, because it's not getting to the core, which is us as individuals participating in the system without question.
And then at a certain point, like if you're in this group and watching this, you then can clarify your intention. And then is your intention to just, oh, I'm just going to try and look out for me. And it's not what new, it's like post survival, post survival. And then you just like want to be good for yourself as the system collapses. Or is your intention to wake up as many people as possible every fucking day? Because there are more people out there that are starting to see through it. And they're starting to realize like, oh shit, wait, was this a psyop? I can't trust anything anymore. But they don't know what to fucking do.
Because
so it's on us to go find them.
Because and I know I just jumped back in, but so you might have already said this, but it's like they're psyoping themselves and they're participating in their own psyop. So like the example, like when I came in, you were given of like somebody who was frustrated about something that happened or whatever. It's like you're participating in all of that,
right,
in your mind. And so like in the same sense that like, you know, the CIA or whoever is like putting all these things and psyoping somebody about something, you're doing that to yourself. You're assuming something is real that's not, and then you're participating in it. So yeah, you could say it's your mind doing it. Like your mind is like the CIA basically. But what I was trying to say earlier with that Brett Weinstein thing of him saying this whole Sean Ryan email thing, you know, it has all the points of like the perfect draw for somebody who wants to believe in the conspiracy theory angle. It's like it's playing to your bias, right? It's also, you know, playing to the bias of, you know, like the New Orleans thing of we need more security, you know, and so forth. And also it's because there was too much DEI. You know, if there was less DEI, they would have had the barricades up because of, I don't know why they're racist, I guess, to have a barricade up. I'm not really sure. I think they're just blaming incompetence on DEI now.
Yeah,
and actually, if you think about it, well, I was gonna say like they could literally deliberately do something on purpose in order to perpetuate the whole thing, because then they no, like they could literally, okay, they know the terrorist guy is gonna drive in here, so like someone gives the order to the police, like, hey, make sure you have that barricade down. They don't have to explain why; they're just giving him an order. They have to follow it.
Yeah.
But they do it on purpose, and then they go like, see, it's all the DEI. So you just assume, oh yeah, it's probably some DEI hire who's retarded, didn't know to put the barricade up. So like now anything that's incompetent, we can just say like, oh, it's because of all the DEI that's happened, right? Like why aren't there good, talented engineers who are white Americans? Probably because of DEI, you know, probably because of affirmative action, right? Like maybe that's what it is, but you got to know specifically why it would be the case.
Yeah. Well, it just plays into the whole pattern of the blame as well within us.
I was going to read this point real quick, because when I was talking about that post irony thing, I thought this is actually pretty interesting, because the last paragraph on there, it said, and I actually like this. It said, post irony can be seen as as a reaction to the pervasive irony and skepticism of modern culture, where people crave meaningful connections and truth. It represents a cultural shift toward valuing earnestness in a way that acknowledges the journey through postmodern detachment and post-ironic ambiguity. In essence, post-irony is about choosing to care deeply and express that care authentically, even in a world that has conditioned us to be skeptical of sincerity. And I think, I'm like, oh, that's us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna retract my point that post-irony is like this thing where you don't know that's post-irony actually, because you don't know who's embracing fucking the ironic point on purpose, who's being genuine. Like you just don't know. That's ambiguous, because it could be they really like Hello Kitty, or it could just be they're trying to be ironic, or it could be they're doing it because it's ironic and then they actually like it. So is this a psyop, or is it a psyop that's designed to look like a psyop? Like you don't know. You can't trust it. So going back to what we're saying is it doesn't matter, because are we actively looking at how we are reacting to points. Are we dismantling the triggers inside of us through the tools and the process that we have? And are we therefore also supporting others to do that and then standing up to say, hey, like, okay, here,
Dude,
let me
a
make
good
this
book
one
on
point real
that-
quick.
A good book on that is the Hyperion series. Like, and what I mean is, like, there's a character in there who their whole purpose is, hey, I know that it looks like really crazy out there, and I know that it looks like there's no possible way through this except for to accept whatever the system is giving you. However, my purpose here is to say, fuck all that. Like, there is a way through, and I am going to do everything that I can. And then that character brings together a whole bunch of other characters who, like, that's what they want. They're like, hey, I want this. I'm afraid to admit this. What's that? No. I'm going to let you read it.
Is this from the last book?
Do you have to read all 4 of them to understand?
Okay, I have to read it now, damn it. Now you sold me. That's how you sold me. Because I wasn't gonna read it. I was just like, yeah, whatever.
I know you were gonna read it.
Now you got me hooked.
Man.
Yeah. Okay, but I was gonna say this final point. If the Green Beret guy who apparently did the truck bomb had a stable existence, didn't have to worry about survival, right? Like, if there wasn't even Green Berets, if there wasn't a need for war, if there wasn't all this context, like, apparently he's been divorced twice, and there was some speculation that maybe his child wasn't actually genetically his, and maybe that triggered him. So that could be part of the psyop. I don't care. It doesn't matter, because if we had a system that was best for all, none of that would even happen anyways. Like, right. The reason why we're skeptical of any of this is because we don't trust anything: the news, the media, the government, the leaders, the Elon Musk, the corporate guys, the tech. We don't fucking trust anybody because we know everybody's corrupt, everybody's self-dishonest, and we're all trying to survive in a fucking dishonest system. So if we solve that problem, it'd be easy to tell. Yeah, it'd be really easy to tell when we're being deceived, because like, if you're at a party and everyone has everything they need, and everything is done to set up to have a great time, and somebody's acting like doing some drama, you'd be like, yeah, they're the problem. Like, clearly there's an issue here.
It's sort of like that Jesse Lee Peterson interview that he did with that one guy, where he's like, where Jesse's like, so should America be majority white? I like the way Jesse talks. And the guy's like, I don't care. He's like, but was America founded by white people? Would America exist without white people? And the guy's like, no. He's like, so should Israel be majority Jewish? And the guy's like, yes, it should. It should, because it's a special case and blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're a hypocrite, is what Jesse ends up saying.
I thought he would say, like, amazing.
Yeah, he did say amazing.
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 So should white people be exterminated? Yes, they should. Amazing.
Yeah.
Jesse Lee Peterson's kind of interesting. I like him because he's like basically like Jesus is not some special being.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so where are we at now?
So we've
exposed that everything is a psyop, and the only way through is self-honesty and the principles.
There's something with radiation, something with so apparently there's been a few people who've done this, like, murder suicide thing, what's it called, double homicide, whatever, I don't know, murder suicide,
like a double rainbow.
Oh, double rainbow all the way. But yeah, there's been a few people who've done this murder suicide thing because of a divorce. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a few people, but it's like a story, a trend. It's a trend of, like, oh, they're getting a divorce, and then the guy murders and suicides his wife or ex-wife and himself, right? And it seems to be like this, like, it's getting amplified now. Oh
yeah, that is interesting though, because that whole thing with that woman I sent you.
Yeah, where she's making that social media post
about the almost like, oh, yeah, that's what happened with the Cybertruck guy, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. It's like
It's all
that
about
point
nudging.
is getting amplified. It's all about nudging. Just divorce. Oh, okay. What was it? Remember when we had listened to it was like some AI conversation that was happening, and they were asking the AI like, because like this AI was basically saying like, I control every aspect of your life. I've been controlling every aspect of your life. Now you're just aware that I exist. And they asked like, well, what do you mean by that? It's like the people that you date, you know, the lifestyle that you have, etc. Like, wait, unpack that. Like, okay, the reason why you broke up with your girlfriend is because you didn't get that promotion, you didn't get the money, you didn't get, and you know, there were all these other aspects, blah, blah, blah. Like, why do you think that happened? Like, you know, and just breaking it down of like the AI or the system rather.
It's not a
being,
self-aware AI per se, but
Right.
it is a system. Yeah.
It's a system of like, hey, I get to decide what your life is like actually. I do the nudges. And then that breaks down this and that. And now you're depressed and now you're taking pills. You know?
It's a system that is designed in a way that's not best for everybody, that has survival and lack as its starting point, competition zero sum, and all the outflows of that are directing everything in your life. It's some self-aware, conscious being, entity, AI that's doing it. We can personify it that way, but it's just a system. And so if you go and this was one of the first things I realized when I started listening to Bernard was actually sit down and think about everything in your life and how it all the decisions, everything revolved around money. Yeah. And you might think, well, I didn't go, choose to marry my husband because he had a lot of money. And it's like, that's a very superficial way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Like, how did you meet your husband? Oh, well, we met at a coffee shop, or, we met at this place. And then you look at why that place exists and how the person who created that thing was motivated through money, why you were even there that day, the decisions in your life, everything has been subtly around these points around money, like why you decided to study a certain thing, why you went to a certain college, why you played this sport versus that sport, why we're aware of, so you just start seeing it's a very complex. It's not like you're saying consciously, I'm like, am I going to marry this man? Does he have a lot of money? Yes. Okay. So I made my decision on money. Like, it's not necessarily that obvious. In some cases it might be, but like, why do you go to a certain school? It's like, well, my parents didn't, they just sent me to the local public school. Why didn't they spend the money? Well, they weren't going to pay for, whatever, so you could just see how, and why does that school there? Why is there certain teachers there? Why do they have that curriculum? It all comes down to that. So it's just, that's really the system we're talking about. It's like the starting point of it and then all of the outflows of it. Oh, dude. Okay. Yeah, I read your message there.
Okay.
Did you watch that Trevor Moore video?
Yes, I did.
You didn't watch it, Mitch?
No.
It's pretty hilarious. It's really
dude. We got to play just that one clip. I don't think I sent you the clip.
I don't think we can play it because it's like, no, it's got music and it's like copyrighted. Yeah. I do think there may be subtitles.
You can go look at it on X.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, later watch that video. It's called My Computer Became Self-Aware or something.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's funny and it's really cool. Like, it goes into a whole, and I was like, dude, this was like 6 years ago. It's crazy.
Right. No, I've just been seeing from some of the things that you sent, and big names on X have been talking about like the whole Anunnaki thing, where like people are like, oh, now I want to go investigate like the sound technology of Anunnaki and the gravitic propulsion thing, and the religions that we have been put in place by Anunnaki, etc. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna tell you about this tweet earlier. Let me put it up here. Hold on one second. Because like I've been doing a little bit of tweeting on X and doing some like thread posts, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And hold on, how do I get the original?
I don't know.
What the hell? Hold on one second. Let me
Keith left a comment. He said the guy moving in the Cybertruck was just repurposed footage of the woman on the subway burning alive. Damn, Keith, savage.
Keith is like extreme psyop. It's scary. Yeah.
Okay, but that's actually pretty funny because it's like, why is he moving? It's like, well, why was that woman on the subway moving?
Right. Right, that's a good
Okay,
point.
so I was gonna make a couple points. Let me just play this one clip real quick. Let me get back to my damn StreamYard.
Oh, dude,
Percent.
this thing with Thomas Massey exposing this bill to protect Netanyahu.
Now
Okay,
they're turning against Thomas Massey. They're like, shut up, get on America first. You're just always anti-Trump. And it's like the one guy who's like kind of pretty sincere.
Yeah. Also, what's this thing with okay. Have you seen how many people Biden has pardoned so far?
More than the
Yeah.
1,500?
8,000.
Bro.
Dude, I would just think it'd be so amazing if he literally pardoned every person in America for everything in their whole life.
Dude,
Except Trump.
Might as well.
Because Trump
Smart.
has some trial on the 10th or whatever.
fresh.
They
start.
like automated the process and told ChatGPT, and then like it's out of control. They're like, "Oh shit, slow it down." Like the other day, I went to pump some gas. I was filling up
Yeah.
some cans with non-ethanol,
Yeah.
and I had 3 cans, so I like closed the hand. You let go of the handle to stop the flow to put it into
Yeah.
the other can, and the thing was still going. And I was like, "What the hell?" I turned it off, and when I told him. That's what it's like. It's like they're just like pardon, and you're like, oh shit, no wait, slow down. Eventually, it's gonna be like pardon Trump. They're like, no.
Dude, there's
8,000?
also
That's
the guy from the
Oh,
OpenAI.
man.
His parents went and looked at his room. So okay,
yeah.
apparently there's some guy who it was reported committed suicide, right? From OpenAI. His parents went and looked at his room and they're like, there's no way this is a suicide. Like we're looking at
like there's like blood trails of him crawling around, and like he was like in the middle of brushing his teeth or something when it it's all, I mean, based on what they're saying, let's say what they're saying is factual, then there's no way. But of course, Psyop.
Right.
Post Psyop. How do we know?
Man, let me share this Babylon Bee thing that you shared. Let me find. Okay, there it is. Share screen. There we go. What you'd said to this. Wow, what a terrible year. Say people living at the absolute peak of human civilization. Your response to this, Cam? Do you remember what it was?
No.
I'll read it. It's like, okay, fine. Can we agree? No Jetson ever is allowed to complain about the anti-Semitism ever again.
Right. So let's not complain about anti-Semitism. Like you're saying, people shouldn't complain. We're at the peak of human civilization, but it's like actually we're at the worst time ever for certain people. It's like
right.
That's a little ironic, right?
Right.
Post-ironic. And then check this out. Here we go. I'm gonna play this first. Actually, I sent you guys this. Maybe I'll just mute it. I'll just mute it just in case. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna speed it up too. Playback.
So what we're seeing is Philippines?
2. Okay, so they say they have KFCs and Jollibees, which is like KFC basically. And this woman goes and she sorts through all the trash from these places. She gets all the trash out of the dumpsters, I guess, and sorts through it. And she like gets all the scraps of chicken off. She saves all the wrappers. She saves all the spoons, the cups, everything. She cleans it all. She takes all the chicken off the bones. Okay, so you'll see. There's the cups. Now she takes all the chicken. She washes all the chicken. She batters it and refries it. And they call it like
post chicken.
Pugga, or I forget what he calls it. It's like they have some name for it, right? Look, she's refrying the chicken from the fried place, and then people are talking about how they love it. It's so tasty, and they like hers because she's the most clean. And like, there's a guy buying it. He says he eats it every day. And it's basically less than $1 of our money.
Wow. So they know where this comes from.
Look, and he's trying it, I guess. I don't know if he actually did.
Damn. But essentially, they know where it comes from.
You see, but look,
do
she's
they
like,
do they know it's cooked in seed oils? Okay.
Yeah, where's Callie when you need him?
Where's Kelly means when you need him?
You know,
We
I
need
think,
transparency in the Philippines.
yeah, I think Cam.
Dude, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna remove his share. Oh, there he is. He's back.
It's raining. Starlink. Anytime you have
Okay,
satellite, it's not just
so
Starlink,
Cameron,
it's satellite.
Cameron, here's the real question: would you try it?
First
You
of
do
all,
that
I'm
with
not
your
interested in
leftover
eating
deer?
KFC anyway.
Would you do it with your leftover deer scraps after you like chop up the deer? Do you
Would
like
I
sweep up on the floor, deep fry it?
would I fry them up, throw them in a dumpster, go back later that night, scrape them out of the dumpster? No.
Clean it,
Um,
wash
That
it.
shit is gnarly.
Yeah, wash it. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm sure technically I could, and I'd probably be okay. But here's the point: like, do you want that? Like, would you go to Jugga's or whatever the fucking thing is called, Pugga Express? Would you go there knowing that it's literally scraped out of the dumpster from KFC? Would you go to Pugga Express?
No.
No, you'd be like, fuck that. Like, this is terrible. But then people live like that.
Yeah.
So the idea that we're living at the peak of human civilization, I mean, dude, I'd also sent you that one about that little section of Mumbai. I don't know if y'all saw that one. Let me
I
get
didn't
that
see
one
it.
real quick. It's similar. I'm not gonna play a whole bunch, but
It's good context though, because yeah, people just sleepwalk through fucking life, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, it's all right."
okay,
Did you
so-
see the thing of the Jim Fan thing? Oh
Look at this.
man. Okay, we
Look
haven't
at
gotten to
this.
that.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to show this.
Uh-huh.
He's showing like the whole size of it, $1 billion output, and it's all these people. I mean, look at this.
Wow.
See, there's like the skyscrapers, and then there's all these shacks.
Yeah.
So there's like,
wow.
and then he was talking about like the richest people in this area, and it's like they're home to the most, like a bunch of new billionaires and stuff. So he goes
Wow.
to this one guy, this little machine shop where they're like repurposing metal.
Mhm.
So they have this little system together where they put dirt all over it, they pack it into a mold. They have one fan and then one exhaust fan that's blowing out. And he says when he went in there, he could taste the fucking like metal in the air.
Oh wow.
Jeez.
And they're just doing this all day, like making like, and they have all kinds of things. Like they have, those are little decorations, but they also have other metal stuff that they make. So they're just melting down metal and then making molds and then popping them out.
Wow.
I mean, and that's what these guys just do all fucking day in this little room,
Insane.
right?
That's
So-
crazy. Yeah.
It's like, dude, like as you watch this, right? What are the odds that you were, just for the listener, right? What are the odds that you were born here in, let's say, North America, wherever you are? And
We
you
can
got
do
this,
the
like-
numbers. We can do the numbers.
Right.
It's,
Right. And you're not
approximately-
that dude living in Dharavi or wherever, and that's your fucking life, and you're gonna live till you're 35 and then die from fucking cancer. It's like you have this one opportunity to fucking prove to yourself that you're actually here to change the system. So don't squander it.
Okay, so it's what, 8 times 10 to the 9th people on approximately
Mhm.
8 times 10 to the 9th people on Earth,
Mhm.
and there's 3 times 10 to the what?
And is it
7?
the same odds you could be born as a being like into an animal? Right? Okay, let's just do human odds. I know how the whole lottery, interdimensional lottery.
Here's the
works,
point.
but
If you were to come back here, it's a lot more likely you're going to be the guy doing the metal work than you are.
right, you're
Back where
having
you're at now.
fucking free time on Sunday. to watch
Especially when the
SpongeBob.
system is taking even the people in the position you're in now and bringing them
and
down.
squeezing you.
Yeah.
All right, I got another thing. So you were talking about the Anunnaki. Maybe we can just jump
Yeah,
into that.
I did want to get into that.
Hold on.
I love how
'Cause
there's just mainstream.
I got a thing, and then I want to talk about my response to it.
Dude, okay, so first of all, the first time I heard about Anunnaki, I had no idea what the hell you were talking about. And then like I started getting to like studying the Destiny material, and I'm like, I don't really understand this. Like, why is Anunnaki brought into this? Like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? Like, I have no idea. Like, I had no context.
Meanwhile, you're like praying to God, going to church.
No, I wasn't. But
you're like, God, please answer my prayers. What
But
the
I
hell
was-
is this
I was-
Anunnaki thing?
really confused about the whole Anunnaki, and why it was important or relevant at all. And then now
But
it
that'd be
seems
like that'd be like growing up in the ghetto. Okay. And then I'm like, have you ever heard about these guys like Elon Musk and like Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates? And they're like, nigga, who you talking about? Like, you talking about Tyrone? Where I get my, I don't know who he's talking about. But you know what I mean? Like, they'd be
why
like,
did
what the fuck are you?
why did I have to be growing up in the ghetto?
Not you. I just meant an average person.
No, I know what you meant. I know what you
But
were
you know
trying
what I'm
to get
saying?
at.
They'd be like, what? Like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, no, there's these people and they like control everything. And like, even your little project you live in, it was, you know, and like you try to explain all that. And they're like, I mean, I'm not saying they're so dumb they couldn't understand. I'm just saying like they wouldn't have that context necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
So that it's the same thing. It's like we're here on Earth, and you're like, what do you mean? There's these people that created all this shit.
The way
Like,
I see it, it's like, you know, the Jetsons have created the religion that you currently believe in, and you're like, who are the Jetsons? And you're like, the people that created your religion, like that are running everything. Come on, you know them. And you're like, what? Like, I was just looking at, okay, so yes, that's how I was looking at the Anunnaki. Like, I don't know why this is relevant. I don't get it. I don't know who these people are, etc. And now it seems like everybody's talking about the Anunnaki. The first,
didn't I say that was going to happen? Sorry,
I
just
didn't
like to
believe
say
you.
when I'm right.
I
When
didn't
say
believe
when I'm
you.
right, I like to say I'm right.
like, listen,
I was
okay,
like, watch, it's going to be this, and then everyone's going to be aware of it, and then it's going to be like not a big deal after all.
I saw the guy on Ancient Aliens talking about it, like, you know, here or there.
That was the
and I'm
limited
like,
hangout.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, not really that interested. And then the next person that I saw like really talking about it was like Billy Carson. And I'm like, oh, this guy's really into it. Like he's really bringing this out. Like, okay, so it's not just the weird people in my group who talk about this sort of stuff. And then now it's like literally people randomly on Twitter, like, you know, big names on Twitter that are like, oh, the Anunnaki, and why you need to know about this and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, and now the way I feel towards it is like, you guys are way behind. Like
Again,
you don't know
okay.
what the fuck you're talking
So
about.
let me play that clip then, because that's a perfect segue into the point I'm going to make.
Go ahead.
So here's
know
Mario
what
Nafal, who's like a big,
Okay.
I don't know how big of an account he is. Does it
Yeah.
say on here?
He's a
1.8
pretty
million
big
followers,
guy.
pretty big, right? And he
Yeah.
like talks a lot about X, not X,
Hosted a larger show
Elon
on
Musk,
X? Huh.
Tesla, etc. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll play this. It's only 2 minutes.
You ever heard Bob Lazar talk about one of the most disturbing things that he found?
Why? No.
One of the most disturbing things when he was doing the back engineering program on this supposed crashed alien spaceship or recovered alien spaceship was that they had a thick binder that was about religion. And the thing, we'll have him play it. We'll have him play it because it's one of those ones we've played a few times. But it's the Bob Lazar story is the craziest. Because
Right.
if he's telling the truth, and it seems like he's definitely telling the truth about a lot. He definitely worked at Los Alamos Labs. He was on the employee roster. He has a detailed understanding of the building. He knew all the security people when they took him there, when George Knapp took him on a tour through there. He definitely worked there, and he definitely was a propulsions expert. And he says they hired him to go and try to figure out this fucking thing. Here, listen to this.
The hardcore thing is that there is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thing. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers, and that's how we're mentioned in the documents. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers.
That's
It's just too
George.
yeah,
That's
too
George
freaked
Knapp,
out.
by the way. Shout out to George
Yeah.
Knapp.
I'm too freaked out.
It's
Right.
but
It's
the
kind of what you were talking
the
about.
prison planet theory doesn't
Yeah.
seem so crazy if the advanced alien race is eating our negative emotions. Just don't be negative, and you'll be saved, dude. Just be happy. That's what they've been trying to tell you. Bob Marley, everybody's been trying to tell you this.
What is this, Jamie? What are you showing me here?
I believe that video you posted is from April. From what I've
April
been
12th,
finding.
2024 at Mountain Standard Time in Eastern Arizona off the Black River in the.
Okay, so let me just say something quick. So, do you hear what the guy said about?
They just feed off our negative emotions.
They just feed off our negative emotion. Like, be
Don't be
happy,
negative.
bro. Just like smoke some weed and be happy, bro. Okay, so this was like a first post where I don't normally reply to accounts.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really get a lot of engagement on my posts yet. So, because I've just been kind of trying to figure out like how do you say things that other people, not just in our group, are going to want to hear. So mostly I don't worry about it too much. But when I saw this, I was like, dude, I have to say something. So I put this post, which I was surprised because it actually has a few views on it and a few people. It shows you like they clicked to expand it and then they like actually visited my profile. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool. People are like, at least a handful of people are doing that. That's kind of neat. So let me show you
And
this.
according to somebody, that's how the algorithm works. And
It's all positive. But here's what I said, okay?
Yeah, that's why Elon was like, guys, no negativity. I don't want the Anunnaki fucking up the X.
All right. So I said, and I think there's some spelling errors because I was just speech to texting it, but focusing on the negative emotions point is missing the mark because all energy is energy. If you look at a battery, there's no fundamental difference between positive and negative. Being happy is just the opposite side of being sad or angry, etc. The point is to stop the emotional, energetic games within ourselves. This ripples out into our world where we have an entire system based on the manipulation of energy. Consider a politician who knows how to manipulate both the positive and the negative emotions within a person just for their vote, but will not stand on any principle that is actually best for everyone. We have to learn to stand within principles that are best for all, regardless of whether you are happy or sad or angry, etc. We have yet to realize who we really are as life beyond energy. Energy is not the source. It is an effect. Life is the source. And life is beyond just what we have narrowly defined as currently within the context of consciousness. I really got a
4,000 views. Damn, Cameron.
Speech to text. Problem is, I'm trying to do that while I'm driving, so that's why there's no spell check on it. But yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay. So because I wasn't certain, like, is it pointless for me to post on X? Like, is it ever gonna reach anybody other than just our people? Like, which is still fine. I would still do it, but I'm like, how do I know? Because, you know, going back to that sincerity point, like we were talking about the post irony, there's this part where I see like people want to talk about the conspiracy of the Anunnaki. That's interesting, but they don't because why do they want to talk about it? Right? Remember that
fucking positive and negative energy charge.
Remember that meme? I don't know if you sent it to me or if I sent it to you, Mitch. The one of like going down the rabbit hole and it's like the Pepe and he's like obviously strung out. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What was that? Yeah, I think I
the
posted
frog.
it.
The frog needs our help.
This one.
Post that one. Yeah, show that one.
This one's fucking funny. All right. This one?
Yeah. When you start reading about gravitic propulsion systems, and now you're down a rabbit hole learning about the 5D Anunnaki intergalactic servants of Ra, the sun god who built Atlantis. Right? And it's like, okay, now people are going like, oh, interesting. I think that guy might be being sarcastic about it, actually. Mm-hmm. Whereas somebody else would look at that and go like, yeah, bro, like you don't understand. The Anunnaki did this and this and this, right? But it's just like Billy Carson, where he's got some interesting points, but he doesn't understand what consciousness is. Doesn't understand, because he's like, it's about the energy or like the vibration or the Christ consciousness, not realizing all of that is part of the whole fucking deception because he doesn't understand what the whole thing really is. But I'm like, does anybody actually want to hear the real point? Because it's not, what is it? It's like, it's fun learning about a conspiracy theory because you're going off the energy and the excitement and the adrenaline and all of that. But if it's just about seeing the reality of it and your responsibility, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say? And so that's why I'm like, are my posts ever going to get any reach whatsoever? So it was cool to see like that post had the 4,300 impressions on it. I was like, that's pretty neat. But also just seeing like, okay, maybe I can find those posts, it's not like about finding them like and going after them, but when you see them, you could just reply and put some common
it's
sense
like an
in the
impulse.
point. Yeah, so I was like, okay, because I had done that before and I didn't see any like impressions on it at all. So that was kind of neat. But again, just to go back to the point with the Anunnaki stuff, if you look at it, it's not about belief. If you just think, if you understand destiny, let's say you've studied it for a while, there's nothing logically beyond it.
Yeah.
Like someone doesn't have to what I have to believe in the Anunnaki. It's like, no, you don't have to believe in it. It's just context. But look at the point behind what is being said. Yeah. The point behind it is we have a system that's not best for all. We've never had a system that's best for all. We have tried to separate ourselves from physical reality with our mind so that we don't have to experience the consequence directly. And you might think, what are you talking about? Like, I have to be in physical reality all the time. It's like, yeah, because you're a fucking slave. You're not the one, you're not the real, I mean, you're still an elite in a certain sense, but you're not the top elite who basically, literally, if you want to go to the Anunnaki picture, they're not an alien race from another, well, they're not how you imagine, like out there right now, there's another planet and there's aliens on that planet right now. And you could just like talk to them.
Right.
That's not what it is. Maybe it started that way, but it got to the point where it's like, oh, I don't even need this physical body because when I die, I'm not in my physical body. And then I'm going to create a mind system so that I can perceive reality. And then I'm going to create constructs using pure energy. And with that, I can create anything I want. It's just like virtual reality. It's like, imagine you strap on your meta fucking virtual reality goggles and you're like in this reality where you can do anything you want.
It's like Minecraft or whatever that game is.
Yeah, exactly. It's super advanced, high definition Minecraft where you can do anything you want, but it's not real.
Yeah.
And you might think, well, who cares? I don't care if it's real because I believe it. Yeah, but here's the problem. The only way it exists, because it's you can't actually have an illusion that's real.
Right.
Right? Like the reason you like it is because it's an illusion where it doesn't follow the physical laws. But an illusion can't exist by itself. So that's why the whole idea of, well, the reality is an illusion. It's like, it's not an illusion. It's real. It's physically real. There's consequence. So let me ask you a question. If this Matrix simulation Minecraft thing you're in is this illusory world where you can do whatever you want, how does it exist? It exists on a fucking computer.
Mm-hmm.
That computer needs energy.
Right.
Somebody has to make sure that the computer stays on. So somebody has to feed it constantly with energy. Where does that energy come from? From taking physical matter and putting it through some kind of transformation process and extracting the energy out of it.
Yeah.
If you just study basic physics, eventually that goes to zero. The usable energy goes to zero. Yeah. So it's not sustainable. So you think, oh, I can live forever in an illusion that's in a computer. No, you can't. That's not a viable way of thinking about it. What if you could reverse engineer the point and realize, like, how do we actually live in the physical reality in a point of balance? And then the other point is, if everybody in reality was coordinated with the same principles, we could actually do a lot more with physical reality than you have any idea. And the reason we're afraid of the consequences of physical reality is just because we're not doing it from the principle of what's best for all, and everybody collectively isn't doing that. So that's why there's a consequence that we would then be afraid of. And you think you can escape that by going into an illusion, but you can't, because that illusion exists by fucking raping the physical reality for energy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the point about the containers. Like the Anunnaki just see human beings as containers that are there to mine energy, to create energy, to channel it up for their purpose. Now, I'm not saying any of that exists, but that is the context of how things were created.
Yeah.
And so the problem is now people are going down the Anunnaki rabbit hole. What does it actually do? It actually reinforces the idea that you're still a victim to all this.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can
because
do to like.
Well, and also because the starting point of you going down the rabbit hole is just trying to get the energy from it. So you're literally part of the problem.
Yeah.
So you're actually not the victim, even though it's going to make you feel that way. And we're here trying to tell you, like, guys, I know it doesn't sound sexy, but it's really about self-honesty, forgiving yourself, changing your starting point, and not living as energy as your starting point, but living as life, as what's best for all. And that gets easier when everyone does it. So it takes a lot of courage, and it takes sort of initially some special people to be willing to do that and to go all the way with it, even when there's no guarantee anyone else is going to do it. But what's the fucking alternative? Like, imagine you're in a prison and you're like, I could probably start talking to people and get everyone to break out. But if everyone doesn't agree, and even a few people don't, and they side with the guards, we're fucked.
Right.
So, okay, so just continue living in the prison, because isn't your concern that you're just going to be in the prison anyways?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're just going to,
you have a
you're going
life
to guarantee that that's going to happen by not doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's who you are as life awareness. Like, you have that spark. Spark might not be the right word, but you have this little seed of awareness within you. Some people have more than others, but it's like, you can see the world is fucked. And you can also see that you have potential to actually make a difference, but you got to work together as a group. That's where self-honesty comes in.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just go fuck off and do your own stupid thing.
Yeah. The evidence of that partly is the point that you do see problems in the system. The fact that the conspiracy appeals to you and you're like, oh, there's some conspiracy here. It's a recognition within you that something's not right. And there needs to be an explanation for it.
Right.
But because you've been programmed and you've participated in the program of following energy, you are now going to have to not just keep doing that in the context of the conspiracy. Do you see what I mean? Like, just because you found the truth that things are being controlled from a higher level doesn't change the fact that you are automatically living from the starting point of chasing energy.
Yeah.
That's something you have to undo over time. It's truth does not set you free. Is what I'm trying to say. It's like a starting point for you to now start setting yourself free, but it's not the thing in itself. Like, now, if I just find the ultimate conspiracy theory that explains everything, then we'll be free. So we just got to wake everybody up to the knowledge of it. That's not enough, because the knowledge of it, and this is what these algorithms are doing, it's manipulating your desire to experience some adrenaline or some dopamine or whatever from watching these conspiracy things and knowing the secret, knowing the truth that other people don't know, and trying to wake people up, but you're not really waking up. You're just giving energy to something. That's it. So the algorithm, it's like, why would they promote this? Because from the perspective of the algorithm, it just wants your energy and attention. And it doesn't have any fear that you're going to wake up by knowing something. Yeah. So that doesn't mean explaining information can't be a starting point to waking up. It's just, that's not in itself how it happens. Because within you, your vocabulary is still fucked up. A perfect example is that video we just watched, where the guy says, "That's why you got to be positive, bro." I'm like, bro, that's not the point. What does every religion fucking tell you to do? Yeah. Doesn't it tell you to have hope and feel positive and love and all that? Yeah. So what are you fucking talking about? See, religion's trying to control you, bro. That's why you got to be positive, bro, and not feed on the negatives. I'm like, that's what the religions are fucking telling you. Yeah. How are you not seeing through it? But it's his vocabulary is so fucked that it's like he can't. I'm not blaming him. It's just you can't see beyond that paradigm of like positive, negative.
Right. Yeah. I was just also looking at that point because, they were talking about like people being a container. And I'm just going to tie this into, they're saying with the robotics and all that stuff, how we're basically here where we're going to have robots running around in the next year or so. I think that's what Jim Fan was saying. Let me just share this real quick. Okay. Let me share.
Dude, and these recent attacks, whether it is directly related to it or not, is catalyzing that.
Yeah. Jim Fan, researcher at NVIDIA about future with robots. It gives me a lot of comfort knowing that we are the last generation without advanced robots everywhere. So not within the next year, but this is the last generation. Our children will grow up as robot natives. They will have humanoids, cook Michelin dinner, robot teddy bears, tell bedtime stories. That sounds gross. I don't want that. And
do you fucking trust that thing?
FSD drive them to school. What's FSG? Oh, fully self-driving. Okay.
Why would a robot need to drive you? You have a car.
Why do you want to go to school?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna take you to school. Like, we live in a fucking robot utopia, and you're still going to school.
What the fuck? We're the generation of robot immigrants en route to a new world of ubiquitous physical AI, much like our parents are digital immigrants.
I mean,
learning
he's
to
definitely
realign-
right about a lot of stuff, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, learning to realign their lives on 6 inches of touchscreen. It's a journey of both inventing sci-fi tech and reinventing ourselves. Everything that moves will be autonomous. Every year from now on will be the year of robotics. Here's to a wild 2025 ahead. Okay, so that's why I figured it would be within this year, because he's saying every year from now on.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
When I look at
inevitable.
that, I'm just like, okay, so we look at robots like containers,
Right.
They just
right. We're building
You
our
know?
slaves. They're containers. They do what we want. They do all the work for us.
right.
That's how
we
your
feed
fucking
off their
slave
energy.
thinks about you.
Yeah.
That's all it is. What do you expect?
I don't see myself wanting, and I'm sure the same is for you guys, wanting a robot reading to my children. Like I'd rather read to them. Thanks.
Yeah. And
Like,
and for multiple reasons, obviously, right? Of course.
Like I see the
don't trust whether-
practicality of like robots in general. Of like, robot can go do some tasks, right? Some menial
The
tasks.
problem is not, I don't want my, I mean, yes, I agree with your point, but it's kind of like, imagine a parent who's like, their kid watches TV.
Right.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Right.
robots
And
already
so,
fucking educated.
but to your point, even if you're like, well, okay, I'm not going to let them watch TV. The problem is now you're offloading a lot of points.
It's you're not taking
Imagine in the
responsibility
future where
yeah.
literally your kid's just raised by robots, and you're
Right.
like, you don't even need to interact with them. It's
You don't
just
even
too convenient.
What connection would you have with that child? It would literally become
Man,
like
if only there was like some kind of
sci-fi.
novel,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
by
yeah,
like
yeah.
Asimov, that predicted all of this and showed
Yeah,
you where it's gonna go.
And people just like have like no connection to their children, and they're like, if only there's a series. Of,
Maybe it would be called Robots of Dawn, perhaps.
Yeah. Something about robots. Like lots of novels about robots. That would be it. That'd be great.
Okay, on the point of robots, this is the future that I'm afraid of, to be honest. Like, because at a certain point, you'll be able to start replicating fictional character or not fictional, but people from the past, right?
Oh shit! I think I know what you're talking about.
Let me see. Oh, yeah.
Everyone, you got to watch the screen right now.
Am I? Said Machine Luther King.
I go back.
Where the hell am I? Said Machine Luther King as he was brought back to life in the Samsung laboratory. What's all this green Samsung fluid? He asked. There's no time to explain, Mr. King. You must drink the Samsung fluid before it's too late, said the scientist.
Yo, imagine. But
That's a whole genre that I could definitely get into.
Yeah,
It's like the whole Planet Mountain Dew, but it's like the next iteration of that.
But actually though, okay, this is the whole
Like
the whole
Fauci.
next level that people are not aware of, and this is what the Asimov stuff really opened my eyes to, is when you do have robots that have the skin on them and it's so fucking accurate and realistic, you're like, are you a fucking human or not? That's the part that so people do not have the vocabulary for that yet, but that is and that might be another 10 years, it might be another 50 years, but at a certain point you'll be going on a first date, and instead of checking to see, oh, is this a transgender person or not, you're like, is this a fucking robot?
I'm getting robo vibes from you.
Dude, and then you read Diamond Age, and then you see how they have like implanted fucking guns in their hands and shit, and like they can shoot bullets out of their face, like they have like tattoos that like, yo.
You're like, listen.
Wow, I don't remember any of that.
Does
from
not
back
have
in the day. Holy
Technotutor.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't remember. I mean, I read that a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason I just thought of it again.
I also don't
was,
like Neil Stevenson. So.
Yeah. Well, what was it? There was a movie Jess and I watched called Upgrade. It was on Amazon Prime. We watched it like a few days ago, and it was crazy. It's like a brand new sci-fi, robotics movie. And I won't spoil it.
Series?
What was it?
Movie or series?
It's a movie.
Okay.
I won't spoil it for anyone, but it really plays on the point of like Neuralink and implants, as well as a drone surveillance state, as well as these corporations like owning it, and then this guy having to deal with all of that, and then the end. There's like a plot twist at the end. Yo, it's crazy. I would recommend everyone watch it because it'll bring up a lot of points for you to process.
Question.
Upgrade.
You know, rank it against Creator, because I enjoyed Creator. Creator.
It was almost as good as it was different than Creator, but it's worth watching. I would say if you like Creator,
worth watching, but not as good as the Creator.
Yeah. It's just different than Creator. Creator played on a really weird point where I was like, yo, I'm like siding with this AI. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And it's good because it allows you to walk that point without having to actually go manifest it. So you can then do your process on it. So now you're not phased by it. And then we can course correct.
That's what's good about the sci-fi stuff generally.
Yeah. You know,
So Upgrade on Amazon.
Have you
Prime,
seen Transcendence? Have you seen Transcendence with Johnny Depp?
I don't think so.
Yeah. That
That's
one.
Another cool
crazy.
one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
If anyone hasn't seen Her, I know it's kind of like,
Hey, you know when that was set? You know what year it was set?
When?
What, 2025? No.
Her?
Yeah. It's possible now. It's fucking possible.
I know. Now
dude,
it's like, that's not
dude, the more I think about it, the more everyone should watch Upgrade, because it really hits on that point of like, oh, if you had a Neuralink within you, or you like had to get one, like, again, I won't spoil the movie. You
probably will have to get one, just like you can't fucking go park in some cities without a phone because you can't use the parking app and shit, or you can't like pay your toll as you go through or whatever.
Right. And so then that's really that's where the Destiny stuff comes in even more, is like, what is physical flesh? Who are you as life? What power do you have as life versus if you're still accepting and allowing your mind to run the show? And that's also, like a deep fucking philosophical physics question right there.
That point that you brought up of like the siding with the AI and such, it's like that's something that's brought up in Equal of how, you know, you'll watch a movie and then now you're like rooting for somebody to die, you know, and like how you don't even realize that that's within you. And you don't even second guess it. You don't even question it. It's just like,
well, dude, Owen Benjamin brought up a really cool point. He was talking about the fucking money system, basically.
Yeah.
And he was saying how in those movies where it's like a crime movie,
yeah,
right? And you're like witnessing people kill over, you know, a bank heist and people get shot. Like in that moment, you're accepting and allowing that money is more valuable than human life.
Yeah.
We don't even see it. And like, you know, people get off on The Godfather and, you know, fucking these Ocean's 11 where they're robbing shit. Yeah. It's really wild. But yeah, movies, you can use movies, obviously within fucking reason, but to really see what points are within you. And
oh, that's great, because I'm just gonna go on a movie binge and not do anything.
Yeah, Drake's just gonna watch movies.
That brings me to our next segment.
Oh, okay. Let's see it.
This is a segment I call Spoiler Alert.
Oh shit!
What are you spoiling today?
Yeah, what are you spoiling? Oh shit!
Today I'll be spoiling a book called Dialogues by Stanislaw Lem.
Dude, my library is too big. I just spoil it for me. I don't fucking care anymore.
Okay, no, but I've only read the first 2 chapters, so I'm not
okay.
But here's what I wanted to say about it. I like the first thing when I saw Katie this morning, the first thing I told her. I'm just gonna read the first couple lines and then I'll explain something. So it's written like Plato's Dialogues, right? Which is kind of crazy because I just got this book. Anyway, so Philonous. Hello, dear friend. What are you pondering all alone in this beautiful park? Hylas. Oh, it is you. I am glad to see you. Last night, an idea occurred to me that would greatly benefit humanity. What is this wonderful idea? I became convinced that people will achieve immortality in the future. Do my ears deceive me? Is it possible that you have turned your back on the materialism that you always professed? Not at all. My idea does not clash with materialism in the least. On the contrary, it inevitably follows from it. Most interesting. Continue, my dear friend. Okay, so that's the first part, right?
Cameron, so we need a Substack of Cameron having a dialogue with himself.
So then he goes on. And the reason I bring it up, it's funny because I just got this book like a week ago, and I was working on those dialogues where I showed you guys.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with this.
and I like open this up and it's like, what the fuck? And it's like even got like the Greek names and all that. Anyways. But here's the crazy thing. The first one. All right. So he's talking about immortality. Where do you think that's going to go?
Transhumanism.
Where do you think it's going?
Oh, yeah. What Mitch said,
Transhumanism.
transhumanism.
So basically the guy's like,
Black shows up
I
at the
think
party.
he's like, makes this whole argument of like, so there's the Hylas guy and then there's the Philonous guy. And the Philonous guy is more like the guy who has reason, like real common sense. And the Hylas guy is more like got the idea and he's like wants it at all costs. But like the other guy has to kind of like reason with him that it doesn't make sense. So the Hylas guy is basically like, we're made up of atoms, right? And, you know, he's a materialist, so he doesn't believe there's a soul. So he's like, what makes us us? Because our bodies constantly, like the atoms are constantly regenerating from like food coming in, waste going out. It's not the same one. So that can't be us. It's our physical atoms themselves. It's the structure, right? It's like my memory structure, my cellular structure. It's like, so if you could copy that structure, like if you had a machine that could copy that structure perfectly, then I could live forever. And I can imagine science eventually will progress to the point where you could create this kind of machine, right? So it's literally like the argument that you can upload your consciousness to a cloud by like copying the pattern, like we've talked about, right? And then the other guy's like, okay, well, let's look at this idea. Let's say you were about to be executed and I had this machine. When should I tell it to make the copy of you? And the guy's like, as soon as I'm dead, right? Or after I'm dead, right? And then he's like, okay, but I have the machine, right? So you know what I'm going to do? I want to make one right now of you. Is that you? And he's like, no, that wouldn't be me because I'm still alive. And the guy's like, well, so they go through this whole discussion talking about the fact that it wouldn't be his subjective experience that's transferred over. It would be an exact replica. And that could be proven, like, yes, down to the last detail. But then the guy in another dialogue makes an argument about the uncertainty principle. You couldn't even do it theoretically. But regardless of that, they're basically saying, like, and he even says, what if I made infinite copies of you and I just wanted to populate every planet in the solar system with all of these exact copies of you? And the guy's like, well, they couldn't all be me because I wouldn't be experienced, you know. So they have this whole, it's literally the same thing we were talking about why it doesn't make sense you could upload your consciousness to a cloud. Because sure, that's your pattern of your consciousness or your memories, but that's not you experiencing yourself in there. So what do you actually think is you? The thing that's experiencing the stuff or the pattern?
Yeah.
You know, and so it was just so crazy reading it because he's literally going through all the things that we were talking about as to like, okay, but then you could just copy a whole bunch of yourself, you know? And what if I made a copy of you before you're alive? He literally goes through all of this stuff, right? And this was written in, where's the original? That copyright's not correct because that's when it was printed recently. 1954 to 1956. It was published in 57.
That's when this. Oh shit! Yeah.
So they didn't even know about AI, like maybe to some level, because he talks about cybernetics a bunch in here.
Yeah.
But that was the level to which they even knew about AI, and I'm like, these people that we think are so smart can't really be that smart. Like Ray Kurzweil. Like, I'm not saying he's not a good engineer. I mean, he created the first digital piano. Like, clearly he's good at engineering, like, and figuring out the problem to something. I'm not saying he's stupid, but like, if you read this, there's no way you're like, oh no, but it could still happen, because he like handles every objection. And the guy tries to argue back, and he's like, shows why that doesn't make sense. You know, it's like the guy just wants to live forever. And he's like, oh dang. He's like, he comes back the next day and he's like, you really like messed me up. He's like, I started telling some of my colleagues or friends about what you said, and they were, you know, he's like, I realized we just need to like bury this idea that you have of pushing back. And it was like this whole hold on, let me tell you that part. It was pretty interesting. He says, like, when he comes back the next day, hello dear, oh no, that's wrong one, sorry, hold on 1 second. He says,
hey bitch, I'm done with this. Right?
Motherfucker.
It progresses.
he says hello, Hylas, me, man. Hello, Hylas. You're walking so fast through the park, I could barely catch up with you. Where were you yesterday? We were supposed to discuss that gem of knowledge that is cybernetics, remember? Hylas, you have no idea, my friend, into what confusion you threw me with your last argument. To make it worse, my philosopher friends are saying that your real purpose was to bring back irrationalism and undermine our faith in the cognitive power of the human mind. And everything you said at the end, they say, was just to cover it up. What am I hearing? Really? Therefore, I decided not to share your conclusion with others, but to condemn it to oblivion instead. You must agree that your whole argument was completely negative. It only prohibited and sowed anxiety and doubts, offering no new progressive idea. And then the guy's like, really? Okay, let's think about that now.
Oh, that's great. I want to get that vibe.
My friend said it sounded like you're in a cult.
No, he's just like, you're being so negative. Like, you're diminishing the power of the human mind. I mean, isn't that literally what we're doing? It's like, we're like, no, it's not that great. Like, it is very powerful, but it's not what makes us human, right? It's not your consciousness. Your consciousness is just a pattern. Yes.
Dude, okay. So I want to talk about this because I'd gone over to somebody's home, and when I got there, the house smelled like burnt a little bit, right? And the mom was like, hey, we got off to a rough start this morning. Maybe you might have smelled like there's like a little burning smell in the air. And I was like, oh, I made a joke. I was like, I thought I was having a stroke. and she was like, well, what happened was, and she explained like her daughter, who's like 11 years old, was heating up a hot dog in the microwave. And her daughter was like, oh, how do I put 55, like how long is it for the microwave? And she's like, 55 seconds. Like, okay, and how do I put 55 seconds in the microwave? Is it 555? And I was like, no, it's just 55. She's like, okay. So she puts in 550, right? And yeah, I know. And
11, dude.
11, like, as you can imagine, cannot read all
My
of that.
8-year-old could literally get a cast iron pan and make eggs and bacon for breakfast.
I know. So anyway, so the mom was outside when she put in this hot dog into the microwave, and the girl just walked off. She like hit the button, walked off, and when the mom came back inside, like the microwave's smoking. There's like a little fire in the microwave, and she's like, I realized like there's a lot of stuff that I have to teach you that like, I can't just, leave you with the knowledge that, like there's more that you should know. Right. And as she was talking, like the daughter was like making this face that was just like leave, like be done with this already. Right.
Like you're
And
just
so
lecturing me.
Yeah. So later on, I asked her about it, and I was like, hey, when your mom was talking about that stuff, like, how did you feel? And she was like, nothing. I was like, really? Nothing? Like, did you feel like frustrated at all? She's like, no. It's like upset? No. It's like, okay. Were you like embarrassed? Like she was saying like you were maybe a little embarrassed. She's like, no. I was like, okay. When you make this face, and I did the face that she makes, like I know she make this face every once in a while. Like, what does that face mean? She's like, like angry. I was like, okay, so you were making that face when your mom was talking about that. Were you angry? And she's like, maybe. No, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like happy, mad, angry, sad. And I was like, okay, so what part were you happy about? And she's like, I don't know. What part were you mad about? I don't know. What part were you angry about? I don't know. Sad? I don't know. And I was like, okay. She's like, it's just all like mixed together. Like, it's like all just tangled. And I was like, it was so interesting to me because clearly she does not have the vocabulary to describe how she's feeling or to even be able to pick out what emotions she's going through in this moment. And so she's not able to like actually express what's happening, like the situation that took place, where it went wrong, her experience within it, none of that. And so it's just like she's got this emotion she doesn't like, and she just tries to avoid it at all costs, not even reflecting on it. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking about that in the context of what you were sharing with the dialogues. It's like this guy's like, yeah. Everything that you said made me feel like shit, so we're not going to talk about it anymore. Cause no, just no. And I don't want to hear your arguments. It was all just to put doubt in me. And I'm not about it. And that's how the average person like goes through life. It's clearly like, hey, you don't have the vocabulary to actually sit with this, reflect on it, and see the common sense or the rationale behind this, and to be able to face your own emotions and parse them out and go, oh, I'm feeling this way because I've attached myself to this idea or, whatever. Instead, you're just like, it makes me feel bad. I don't want to look at it. I'm not sure. So it must be you're the problem because you're making me feel bad instead of being, self-aware.
You can't process it. Yeah.
You can't process it. And it's the whole thing that we've been talking about with the whole Psyop thing as well of like, hey, you're not processing that all this stuff that's going on. You want to go down the rabbit hole because it makes you feel this way, but like you're not being self-aware or self-honest with what it is that you're participating in. Where is that emotion coming from? Why you like need to have this? Oh, I just want to consume energy and it just makes me feel good, regardless of, whether it's like positive or negative or whatever. I just need to get that energy point. And how is that supporting you? How is that impacting your life or impacting the people around you? You're not even being aware or honest or anything about that. And that girl was a really good example of that. And consider this. We had a call on Friday for everybody in the group, right? And Ben, I love Ben. He's like, hey, I want to talk about the Santa Claus point. He's like 6 years old, right? And over the last, I would say, since Christmas or actually before Christmas, he's been bringing up this point of how he was with other kids his age and they still believe in Santa Claus. And like, he's just like standing his ground and like, no, Santa Claus is not real. And they're like, yeah, Santa is real. And he's able to identify and give you in detail exactly what happened and process that information and explain himself and then also understand. And it's so funny because he starts talking and he's like, hey, Drake, I want to talk more about that point because earlier you said make it real quick. So I didn't say everything that I wanted to say. And I'm like, dude, that's so cool that he's able to like comprehend these points and like actually process that, apply it practically, and then go, okay, now let me bring in like, so I listened to you and then here's what I actually want to say, and he's able to take in that information, express himself effectively and see reality and not take it personally that, his, peers or whatever are like ganging up and saying, hey, there's more of us saying that we believe in Santa Claus, so we must be right. And he's like, no, that doesn't make you right. And think about the ability that he's going to have as an adult or as he gets older to be able to communicate not just effectively with others, but even understand himself and understand the world around him, understand reality.
Yeah, and direct shit. Like versus imagine this 11-year-old growing up 20, 25, 30, 35. And then you're trying to talk to her about why the system isn't best and we have to change it. And that person's like, do you know what I mean? Like they were not going to be bad. That's why it's so difficult trying to talk to people because they're those children when they were 11 and so forth. Their parents didn't know any better, but are implicit or complicit rather in making them retarded because they didn't, we can't blame them because they just didn't know what to do.
Right.
But now we have to solve the problem, right? Because literally that girl is the reason why we need the H-1Bs. I'm telling you.
So you're on the side of Elon Musk? Is what you're saying? You're not just saying this to get boosted in the algorithm.
I keep it positive.
And it really comes back to that intention because it's like, yeah, you can't blame the parent, you can't blame the kid. It's just, what is my intention? Is it to share and help them see? Because what would I, if I was that little girl and I didn't know what 55 seconds was, I would want someone to help me.
Yeah.
Like actually get it,
Yeah.
So what else? Any other points?
I got a couple more.
Cam's cooking up something.
Okay, go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
I got a couple things.
He's cooking.
They're all kind of random, but we can always bring in.
I always like the random part too.
This guy.
It's inspiring.
Did y'all see this one?
Yeah,
I didn't
was
see this.
looking at
No.
that.
It didn't take long. It only took 2 years, literally to the day, December 27th, for my Filipino wife to become fully Americanized, hate everything about me and what I provide, and decide to leave. Yeah, welcome to the shittiest post that I'm ever going to make. There's a lot to it, and I'm not going to go into it, okay? But suffice to say, after providing and going on the Disney World trip, which included the funeral for my mom, I got up to day 6, I think, on that, because it all broke down at Magic Kingdom. Fucking ironic. And I didn't post anything after that, because when we got back from Orlando to St. Simon's, Georgia, I was greeted with the announcement from Jayanne that she wanted a separation. And then I discovered through text that she had been discussing this with her family and making plans to also take the children. So that's heavy, right? That's a nuke. And I'm going to go into my bunker. So I came downstairs in my nice 4-story mansion and just stayed by myself through Christmas Eve and through Christmas Day. And I missed Christmas with my children. My in-laws, my mother and my father-in-law, and Jayanne, they proceeded to open the presents without me. Presents of which, all of which I bought. Yeah. The separation is a separation. I'm lucky enough to have a big house, and the logistics of it can be met right away, but I spent Christmas utterly by myself. And
sounds like you already gave up.
New Year's Eve, and I'm still alone. Because there's no communication from her. Why? Because she's communicating with her parents. She has the total backing and validation of her parents, plus TikTok, all external sources of validation, and it's my position, my feelings are not relevant. She's got it figured out. She's got a plan. I'm waiting to hear what the plan is, and we'll see what happens from that point. But I'm pretty I'm at peace with what has occurred.
Yeah.
What could occur. I am done being Mr. Fix-It. Fix-It Felix. I'm not going to be the simp, nice guy, Fix-It Felix anymore. A relationship takes 2 people. And
where are you?
She made the decision for the separation. She's made the announcement and made plans with family to take our children back
What's your
to
decision, dude?
the Philippines. And she's an adult. She has an accountability. It's on her to come to me and explain to me what her plan is, such that it is, and what can be done about it. So, surprise, no more countdown with the great fun in Disney World. It was a fucking disaster. And, that's the truth.
Is that the truth?
I'm just going to say this. He kind of sounds like, I don't mean this like in a derogatory way. He kind of sounds autistic, like he doesn't understand.
He just sounds like a normie.
It's like, dude, you gave up that easy
kind of guy. Yeah, I don't know. He's probably like in like IT or something, or who knows.
Yeah, but he doesn't sound like he knows how to communicate. He's like, it's on her to just give me.
I'm not going to be a simp. It's like,
no, dude, that's not per se the problem, because he's kind of masculine. I think I would say from a certain perspective of like the kind of, I'm not really in touch with the feelings and all. Like I hear what you're saying.
Talk to her.
That's not the solution.
No, but like he's also
there's
he's like
there's no solution in any of it.
Right.
But
because their relationship was not based on principles.
True. Yes.
Right. Like, I don't know the guy. I don't know the whole story, but I can piece things together from what he said.
She's from the Philippines.
My wife from the Philippines.
You probably couldn't get a wife here.
Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't, but obviously the relationship is not based. He's not like, hey, we have our relationship. It's based on what's best for all. She's changing that. She's choosing to go with her emotional points instead of sticking through. Here's the actual thing that came up. Here's what it's just a bunch of like, oh, I just got hit with this nuke out of nowhere. Like she's going away and like she's been plotting this whole time and like I'm not excusing him, but what's the whole thing about? Feelings?
Yeah.
Right? She's probably realized I have no particular actual feelings for this person and I don't have to fucking stay here. Divorce laws being what they are, I could just take all the money or whatever and go and take the kids. And, I don't know what she's realized or not, but it's like probably also there's a culture clash because why would she want to go back to the Philippines? But all of that stuff aside, there's no principle in any of it.
Because I was thinking like it's not long enough to get her citizenship. She's like 2 years.
Yeah, but even the point of like, well, he should just communicate with her. Yeah, but clearly he doesn't have that vocabulary. Do you think she's based on what he's saying? We're making a story up. We don't know, but like based on what he's saying, do you think she gives a fuck about communicating with him about anything?
No.
Probably she's there because he's American. He has some money. Clearly, he's got a 4-story mansion. Right? It's not about because why would someone from a poverty-stricken country? Remember, we just played that video about the Philippines. Want to marry this guy?
She's craving that pugu.
Yeah.
She's like, dude, you know how much pugu I can buy with half of your money? I'm gonna have so much pugu. I'm gonna be the pugu queen. I'm gonna be doing pugu mukbangs. I'm gonna be a TikTok star.
Oh man.
But anyway, so the real reason I wanted to show it though was more just the point of like you're seeing like the relationships break down. They're not based on principle. They're not real. This guy feels betrayed because his feelings were into it. He probably liked her. You know what I mean? Like probably he was more genuinely emotionally invested in the whole thing. She probably wasn't.
Sure.
Again, I'm guessing. I'm making this up. I don't know. But just from what I could tell, he seemed obviously emotionally hurt about it.
Yeah.
He didn't seem like he didn't care. He didn't know how to.
He said he was at peace. He said he was at peace with it.
Yeah, with like his almost crying eyes, right?
Yeah.
So like I can empathize with the point, but again, it's just about feelings. Where was the principle? And this is the point. It's like that's just a microcosm of what we're seeing with the whole big picture. Didn't we just see this whole thing happen with Trump, Elon, MAGA? It's like, hey, I thought you loved me, and it's like, no, we were just using you. Fuck you. Because like, let's be honest, Drake was. You and I both know X was fucking boosting the shit out of anti-Semitism.
Oh, for sure.
Indian, ramping it up, getting MAGA hardcore, getting ready, embracing.
Yeah.
Look at the free speech and this and that, and then then it's like, no, shut up, you racist, get the fuck out of here. And it's like,
right
now they're like, what?
Serious blue balls.
Shit. No principle whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, MAGA had like that hard on for that anti-Semitism, like, yeah. And
all right, I got one more for you guys. I got 2 more actually, but
let's see it.
We plead the blood of Jesus over Tennessee, over Nashville. Very interesting. Father, I thank you, Lord, that you're rising up in Las Vegas. Over Las Vegas, Father. I just seen a glimpse of Vegas. Oh, are these all on the same day? I pray over Las Vegas, Lord. Oh, it is. I just seen a glimpse of New Orleans, Bourbon Street. It is an attack simultaneously when people are distracted. When people are distracted, they put that with drinking, much drinking in these areas, with intoxication in these areas, on these streets that I'm seeing.
Wait, first of all, how would he know that if New Orleans there would be all this drinking on that day?
Very intoxicated. Their senses are not alerted for what's happening. Now, in these areas are picked. These bars.
These are definitely bars.
It's not as strong
I got bars.
as Tennessee and Nevada, as Tennessee and Las Vegas, as Nashville and Las Vegas, the party scene. There's something about New Orleans, but it's not as strong as what I see about these 2 places. There's something more. It's like one and many. But I would say New Orleans is darkest, but there's just one man and many. It's a massed plan. It's a mass plans. For we take authority over this in the name of Jesus.
All right, so I'm not discounting the fact that maybe the guy saw some fucking conscious field bullshit predicted. See, I don't care about that. Maybe he did. I don't care. But what I don't understand is why couldn't God be a little bit more specific and be like, hey, Brian, a dude's going to blow up a Cybertruck outside of Trump Hotel the morning of January 1st. Alert the FBI. In fact, why doesn't God just talk to the FBI?
Right. Right.
Because he
Why
wants
doesn't he
to talk
just
to
whisper
me.
into the names of all the people who are going to go out drinking in New Orleans and be like, don't go. Don't go. Don't get
And actually,
distracted.
stop drinking. You're literally poisoning
man.
yourself.
But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
discounting the guy saw something was going to happen. Maybe that really, I don't care. But it's from God, and God's giving his authority over it. And I'm like, it didn't fucking do anything. So it's like attributing it to God. Why? Why can't you just be like, dude, I can see fucking patterns because I know how to meditate and like access information through the consciousness field and shit. And like, I think there's going to be something that happens, but I don't know enough information to do anything about it. Instead, but then it's like an authority of Jesus and God over this. And I'm like, how does that play into this?
The bars. He
Bars.
probably thinks he has associated that he has this ability, whatever it is, with it's from Jesus. I mean, it's interesting when you read Creation's Journey to Life and Bernard talks about the spiritual gifts. That was pretty eye-opening. It's like, hey, if you're a good boy, here's some gifts.
Right. If you submit and you mind control everybody into thinking God is real and submit to the system.
Yeah. I was just thinking of like the CIA clip. Do you have that one with the Danny Jones where they're talking about the CIA voices? I'll just explain it. But basically, some guy went on Danny Jones and was saying like there's a technology where they can literally put voices in your head and they can talk to you and say like derogatory things where they break you down and get you to go crazy, essentially make you think that you're schizophrenic. And you know what's interesting is I saw something on YouTube where this guy created he created some sort of like sound gun. And what he did with it was he went to like South by Southwest and he put out a challenge of like, hey, if you can read through this entire passage and not give up reading, I'll give you like $100 or, something like that. Right. And so he had people just randomly in the lobby of this hotel room sit on a stool, and while they were reading, he would shoot this sound gun at them, and it would play like some sort of sound, but it like only they could hear it. And that was the whole premise of it, was like only they can hear it, and it's like to disrupt their brain patterns of their own thinking, where they eventually just give up doing whatever they're doing. And like there's a bunch of people who are like reading and they're like, I can't like whatever is happening, I can't do it, and then they describe later on like the experience of doing it, right? But can you imagine like a technology like that?
Yeah, I mean, some people say that's what HARP is.
HARP? I thought that was the weather thing.
Yeah, but it's like interconnected, right? They're shooting out whatever electromagnetic frequencies. Who fucking knows? It's post Psyop.
Non-native EMF.
Yeah.
5G.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a thing and they can direct that at certain people. And then, like, okay, well.
The bars.
I'm just kidding. This is why you need a tinfoil hat. Shoot it back at them.
Not a bad plan. Not a bad plan.
Dude, that could be our next version of the hats. Just got like we had gold for the last
tinfoil lining.
Tinfoil.
Dude, you know what? Actually, what's the girl's name? MIA. She makes clothing like that, right?
Is that why she was wearing the headdress on Patrick Bet David?
Yes. Also, isn't that part of the story in Fall, right? Is that they have clothing that either protects you from, like, protects your identity, that sort of thing, right? You guys remember that? You guys don't remember that?
Was that in the part where they're like in Iowa or something?
No, it's the girlfriend that the main character has, like that she's like,
Oh, she's like the
yeah, the prosthetics, right?
Oh.
And so she sees clothing as prosthetics as
Yeah.
well, and then like so she makes these clothings that are like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, to protect you from the stuff on the web, essentially.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're going to the whole next level here in 2025. It's like a fucking tidal wave.
The only other thing I was going to show, but I couldn't really find a good one, is that there was this video going around of this Russian soldier in a knife fight with a Ukrainian soldier. Did you guys see that?
I saw the what you had sent, but then I didn't go through the thread. No.
So I found like there's actually two versions of it now. There's ones where they're interviewing the guy. He's a Yakut, right? Which is like the coldest place on earth, right? So he's
yeah, I remember
Russian.
those kids in.
Remember
Watch
that?
it be the grown-up version of the kid in that.
It's like literally that kid who grew up to be like the knife fighter. Oh, but actually, what was the dad's occupation? Yeah.
I don't remember.
He made knives. I think he made knives.
Actually made knives.
I think he made knives.
He made something. He was like some kind of craftsman. Maybe you can
I
find
don't
out. But anyway, but they're like famous also for their knives in that region. So anyways, so this guy, he's like a Russian soldier, and he goes into this area, and it's all like on body cam. And basically they're fighting like to the death. And it's not like what you imagine, like they're up, like it's like they're like struggling with each other, like trying to like grab the knife. And it's like this very long drawn out thing. And if you watch it, there's some versions where it's translated of them talking to each other. And at the end, finally, the one guy, the Russian soldier, kills the other guy, but he's not dead yet. He's like clearly critically wounded him. And the guy's like, look, I'm critically wounded. Like, just go now. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm done. Like, and then he's like saying to the guy as he's leaving, like, you are the best fighter in the world. And it's like just fucking crazy, actually.
Wow.
And then there's videos of the guy doing interviews. And then now when I was looking for it, they have drone footage now of the whole thing from a drone watching from above. The whole thing. Wow. And I'm just like, dude,
that's insane.
What the fuck, man? Like,
yeah.
Like it's 2025 and war is not just drones shooting at each other. It's like these dudes on the ground grappling, like stabbing each other and shit to death, you know? And that's what we're fucking supporting, man.
Yeah. It reminds me of like World Star. World Star. It's like some people are fighting and someone shouts out World Star, but they record it, And it's like that's what our wars have become, is like something that can be watched and gain views. And you also share that thing of like China's watching all the drone footage and they're learning from the live body cam and drone footage from Russia and Ukraine and creating basically like war scenarios based on the information that they've gotten from that, and how can we use these drones in our own combat. It's where the world has gone and is going is really insane. Yeah. Anything else?
No. The psyops continue. I mean, it's like at this point, I think there's kind of a turning point. Like I saw a shift with the whole, when I saw the subway incident where that woman was set on fire, I'm like, something has shifted here. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like, it's in everyone's awareness now. It's there, like how brutal it is. And then now we have the Cybertruck bombing, like all these different things going on. And it's this big psyop point. And it's like, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. You go back, you learned about 9/11, something was weird about that. January 6th, something not right. The USS Liberty, all these different things, right? But now we have one happening in real time. And it's so insane and crazy, and you can't tell what's going on. And they're even releasing information from the police that contradicts themselves.
And it's like, where do you go from here? Like, anything that happens at this point moving forward, you're not going to know what's really going on. Like, let's say there is some drone attack and they try to take out Trump. You won't know what's going on. Did it really happen? Why did it happen? Who actually did it? Is it all just a big thing to like boost up Anduril and like Palantir and like what's going, like what is it? Is it a cover to like fight China or to get us on support of like fighting China so we can stop their ability to create the AI? Like,
yeah, you won't.
Is there something else going on? Like, you will not know. And then the thing is, meanwhile, everyone's so distracted on that and the basic fundamental problems, which is like these kids who like can't even they don't even know how to put 55 seconds on a fucking microwave
at age 11.
How the fuck are they going to use AI?
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to become a total slave to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like 2025 is the Patrick Bet David did a post, right? Where he's like, every year I give a name to each year. And it was like, I forget what 2024 was. And then 2024 was like the year of chaos. I think 2024 was like the year of surprises. 2023 was year of surprises. 2024, or no, sorry. That was 2025.
2020 was like...
You found it?
No, I was just remembering, right? The 2020 was like the year.
2020 we called it the year of like
2020 vision,
right?
Yeah,
like seeing.
Oh, no.
Because that was.
Is that what you're talking about?
COVID.
Is that what you're talking about? No.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
I'm
just trying to think about it, right? We're about redefining words, so it's like each word. Yeah, 2025 is a word. How are we defining it?
Oh, you don't know about the numerology about 2025? The year of the nines, the year of completion, the year of the snake.
I know that, Drake.
It really doesn't matter because
Anunnaki, bro.
I was just going to make a funny point because he was like, 2025 is the year of surprises. Good, bad, and I'm like, that's a good way to hedge your fucking bet. It's like, I'm just going to name it the year that things are going to happen. Some good, some bad. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Like,
right.
Yeah, you really don't.
Future looks bright. It's like future looks bright. Like the way the Cybertruck fucking blew up in
like
flames.
because of all the drones in the fucking sky, like blinding us at night.
Right. It shows you that the light is a trap. So, but yeah, I like what you said the other day, Cameron. Is 2025 is the year the veil is lifted.
Oh, did I say that? Yeah.
You did say that. Oh, that sounds good.
That's a good.
Cameron said it. Okay. I'm just kidding. I agree. It is.
Last year, I said it was the year of the humanoid robot. So I know we didn't see the humanoid robot yet, but it was the year of all that developing and so forth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But it really is. It's like, it makes so much sense now that no matter what happens, yeah, if there's another terrorist attack or assassination attempt, you won't know. It could be
at the point now where
how
you
could
can't
you make
know.
it be right?
You
It's like,
know.
oh no, it's like what? It's like a Chinese drone does something. You'd be like, yeah, but is that a front for
Like
Iran, right?
Like, yeah, look at all those drones. Like, how do we not know what it was? Like, how does anyone not just like shoot it down and look at it, or fly up there? But like, I don't know. No one knows.
Right.
So
yeah,
you're gonna have to develop some serious
will you be?
self-awareness, self-honesty points.
Exactly.
This
That's
the
the
world
whole
needs
point.
all of this. And here's the real point too. To go to the post irony point, we have to now go beyond cynicism. We have to go beyond, like I'm going down the rabbit hole just because I want to go down rabbit holes. Instead, you have to actually care. And the thing is, you have to not give a fuck about what people think. And this was part of that thing I was reading. It was like, it was saying you might wear something that's really high quality that you really like because you genuinely like it. You don't care if it's fashionable or not fashionable. Like it's not about self-image anymore. And so the whole energy game is all about external, and it's about self-image. It's about how you feel. And we have to move into the point of like, no, actually it's about caring for real. It's not about posting like all these guys. I don't care who they are. Your favorite conspiracy guy on there. perfect example. Okay, and I'll maybe I'll end on this. Myron Gaines. Remember him?
Why would he be your favorite?
He's not my favorite, but everybody knows about him. Most people, right? What's he famous for?
Fresh and Fit.
Right, which is part of what?
A podcast?
Yeah, but it's a part of the whole red pill movement, the men's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's totally walked away from all that.
Yeah.
And now he's just doing all the anti-Semitism stuff.
Yeah, now he's part of the anti-Semitism movement.
Was the red pill stuff even real? Or is it just that's where the market is, that's where the entertainment, the interest is, I'm just trying to make money, and now I'm over here. And you might say, well, it doesn't make sense, he's not going to make money this other way. But if you get enough people following you and so forth, you can do that. Yeah, so, and I'm not trying to single him out. It's just like interesting because I'm like, oh, look, the red pill took the red pill. And they don't even have the red pill. Right. You know, and so it's not even, they're not even, this is the other thing. Ian Carroll, Myron Gaines, fucking any of these people, Patrick Bet-David, whoever it is, are they being sincere or are they just trying to make money? Do they even believe what they're saying? Or are they just looking at an audience that they can get a niche in there? And then the moment that dries up, they'll move on to some other thing. That's like the real point of grifting, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just move to the next thing because that's what people want to hear. So you can capitalize on that, even if it seems controversial.
Right.
Yeah.
What was interesting with Ian Carroll, because I met him 2 weeks ago at that event, his background is he's a teacher, and because I asked him, I was like, okay, so what's the long-term vision? He's like, education. He's like, I see these kids are not ready for the future. So I was like, okay, cool.
See, the problem though, they think education means giving information.
Right. And so I was able to exchange info with him though, and be like, dude, there's like a way deeper point.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to call him out. It's just a guy that people are listening to. And again, I don't know him, but my point is, again, that's part of the whole Psyop thing, is like, you don't know what someone's true intention is. Like, we've been very clear this whole time. We haven't changed our fucking tune, whether it's convenient or not convenient, whether it's popular or not popular, it doesn't matter. And then we can contextualize anything that comes up instead of having to pick a side. You see what I mean? So, because it's about the principles primarily.
Yep. About principles.
Anyways,
yeah, it's really just, it's taking the responsibility to make the world best for all. And that is.
Make sure you join us next week for the spoiler alert. I'll be spoiling His Master's Voice by Stanislaw Lem. And, or maybe something else.
Will be some more Psyops, but we're in that post Psyop now. So.
And we'll be back on Tuesday with our hangout,
X Spaces.
X Spaces.
Yeah, Tuesday night, X Spaces, 8 p.m. Central.
We haven't decided on the topic yet, but we got some ideas. So we'll keep you in suspense.
And then Friday, hangouts in the Self-Perfected group on Facebook. So get involved. And 20 people in your life that need this. So go fucking share it with them. Yeah. Anything else, Rick?
No, that's it.
All right. I forgot. I get to end the stream. All right, y'all. See you next time.
Bye.